Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. Happy Thankful Thursday to you all. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're about to do. We got our Thursday Candace Owens watch party queued up, and y'all, she done already put up her thumbnail, and it's going to be a mess. Shout out to everybody who's already jumped into the best live chat on the internet. Shout out to every one of y'all. Hit the like button and go ahead and add your like number to it. We got to move because Candace is going live at 5 o'clock. Whoa! She turning over a new leaf, y'all. she giving your boy a little bit of heads up. Real quick, I got my bingo board ready too. By the way, I planned. By the way, shout out to all the new people who've been checking out the channel. Shout out to everybody who's jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I'm letting you know right now, I don't care about offending and being mockery. I'm just mocking this. So please understand, that's what we're doing. So if you came here tonight, we're just here to have fun. Shout out real quick, my bingo words, by the way, if you want to play bingo with us, down in the description of this video is the link in the description. Check it out. I think the mods will drop it. Matter of fact, I can even put it right here. I can put it right here because we got fanciness up in here in 26. We're going fancy in 26. Look at that. You can even scan the QR code and join us. I'm telling you right now. I don't know, man. I think I had a really good lunch today, and I got a lot of good work done. I think that's what my problem is. I'm kind of hyped up. I'm kind of hyped up today. There we go. Let's get it going. So I got the feds. I got the trust me, bro. Betrayal. I have messages. Not grieving right. My sources. Tip line shout out. Leaks. TPUSA. Patchwork theories. Calling an expert a liar. FBI. Jump down here. Jews and Jewish donors. I'm just asking questions. Kanye West. I just sense. Hunch. Erica. Call out random country. Israel did it. I won't share it yet. Military. I feel. And Trump. All right. Now the middle word now, instead of it being a free space, it is a word now. If you notice that, you're like, hey, what is that? And that word is Schadenfreude. What in the world is Schadenfreude, Jason? Are we speaking in tongues? Is that Egyptian? No, it just means people who enjoy watching somebody suffer. Is that not what we're doing here today? Are we not here watching Candace flounder around and try to salvage her reputation? Absolutely. So everybody, your free space is now called Schadenfreude, and we're going to go ahead and click it right now. Now, shout out to the best live chat. I see y'all up in here. Good to see y'all for sure. Now, before we get too far afield, I found an excellent video that really helped explain what we've been seeing as it relates to Candace Owens and how we've been trying to argue, hey, this doesn't make sense. You don't have evidence. Where's your facts? Facts don't line up with what you're saying, all that kind of stuff like that. And if you've been out here in these social media streets at all, you know that that's been almost like an impossible task to point people to facts and then for them to now move in another direction or not be able to work with or see the truth that you're pointing out to them. So I found a young man. Let me make sure I got his name correctly. I'll drop it in the chat in a second. But he did an excellent video. He's a debate. He's called The Disciplined Disciple. And he's a debate coach. Shout out to everybody who's proficient in debate and that. But he was explaining what we've been seeing as it relates to how Candace has been moving. I thought that was excellent. The wise disciple. I apologize, not the disciplined. The wise disciple. Let me drop that link in the chat. I don't think I shared it with the mods yet. I apologize about that. Bada boom. Okay, let me bring this in because it's about 15 minutes, and I think that'll get us.
Have you ever noticed that facts?
That'll get us right close to the start time for Candace. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
Have you ever noticed that facts don't seem to work anymore?
Green hearts in the chat. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear, by the way. I apologize for that. Let me know that you can hear.
I don't mean that people don't have facts. Everybody's got facts. Everybody's got screenshots, clips, articles, studies. What I mean is that presenting facts does not seem to actually change anybody's mind. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? you can slow down, you can reason carefully, you can say, okay, let's just walk through this step by step. And instead of persuading somebody, what you get is suspicion. Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Steven Crowder, Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro. Who has the facts? Who should we be listening to? Nobody knows. And this isn't just politics, it's everywhere. Hey, what the heck is going on? Actually, I think I know. I've seen this before. And those of you who are debaters, you probably know exactly what I'm about to say. So let's get into it. Hey, so my name's Nate, and if this is your first time watching me, thanks for being here. This ministry is designed to help you be the effective Christian.
If you're wondering real quick, I did drop the link to Nate's channel in the chat. Please take a second. Thank you so much, Ben. Ben dropped it as well. Please make sure you take a second to jump over there and check out his channel. I believe he's going to earn it. So go ahead and subscribe. Drop him a green heart. Tell him tell him Jay Witt sent you, all that kind of good jazz. All right, let's keep it going. Let's dance.
Nate, and if this is your first time watching me, thanks for being here. This ministry is designed to help you be the effective Christian you were meant to be. And before I did this, I was a formal debate teacher. So if this blesses you at all, please share this one around. Amen. All right, here's the deal. We are no longer arguing about facts. We are arguing about frameworks. If you've ever watched a debate round closely, you know that laying a framework is everything. I've talked about this, I don't know how many times in debate videos going back years. Laying a framework tells the judge how to evaluate the round, how to think through about what they're hearing. It tells a judge what counts as evidence and what standard matters and what impacts outweigh others. If you've ever watched someone debate and you thought to yourself, man, they're really good, but you can't put your finger on why, it's probably because they know how to lay a framework very well. William Lane Craig is really great at this, but so was Christopher Hitchens. So is Alex O'Connor. This plays a huge role into why they are such convincing communicators. This is why I've said, whoever lays a better framework typically wins. It doesn't matter if the debater loses on substance. If they win the audience over to their own framework, they win. That's how important a framework is. It determines what reality even looks like inside the debate round or on the debate stage. So, that part is normal. What's not normal is what we're seeing right now in our culture, because in real debate, framework is supposed to be paired with contentions and arguments and evidence and warrants, right? As the debater on the stage, you lay the framework, you set the particular lens of understanding, and then you argue inside of it. What we're seeing right now in our society is something different. We're seeing framework without argument. So instead of well, here's my claim and here's why it's true. What a lot of people are doing now is, hey, before we even talk about evidence and arguments, you need to understand that the system is rigged. Hey, before we talk about facts and source citations, you need to understand who's pulling the strings of power behind the scenes when nobody can see it. Who is secretly out there trying to get you and hurt you, and who benefits if you continue to believe the lie, right? Notice what happens when a person says this kind of stuff. What it feels like is like they're pulling the curtain back. Right. They're revealing truth for us all. And it sounds like clarity and it sounds like sophistication. But in reality, what they're doing is they're preloading the conclusion. They're priming the pump, so to speak, in order to get exactly the type of response that they want without ever having to make a substantive defensible argument. Because for most people, once you accept the framework, the argument is no longer important. Think about that. Any evidence that comes after the framework is laid gets relabeled before it's ever heard. So now, evidence isn't evidence, it's propaganda. Now, it's not evidence, it's talking points, or it's a globalist narrative, or they're just trying to silence me, guys, or You know, they don't want you to know what really happened. Meanwhile, who's they? Right? Nobody knows. By the way, you realize Word of Faith folks do this all the time to people?
Yep.
If you challenge the Word of Faith folks on their awful exegesis, actually, my bad. What was I thinking? They don't even have exegesis to begin with.
That's a good point.
Let's be real. But if you challenge Word of Faith folks at all, what happens next? Oh, you're part of the spiritual deception. You're part of the devil's agenda. This is all the same move, ladies and gentlemen. Different tribes, different agendas, same move. And here's the genius of it. If you ask for warrants, so let me back up. By the way, just a real quick lesson on arguments. An argument, according to the Tolman model, must have three parts to it: a claim, data or evidence to support the claim, and a warrant. A warrant is simply the explanation as to how the data supports the claim. Guess where arguments almost always break down for people? This is a little trick for you. So if you want to go out and engage somebody else, or you want to clash with somebody on the debate stage, guess where arguments almost always break down? It's in the area of warrants. Either somebody gives an insufficient warrant, a flawed or a warrant that it can be sort of fought with defeaters, or there's no warrant at all. It's just completely missing. That means when someone is pushing a framework with no argument, guess what they're not going to have? Warrants. And when you ask for one, what happens next? Your question is treated with suspicion. Because the framework has already decided what your facts are before they're even evaluated. That's why facts don't change minds anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand? It's not because facts stopped existing, but because persuasion moved upstream. You know, today we're no longer clashing over conclusions, but over the framing of the conversation. Now, here's a question. Why does that work? Why does that work so well? Why can't people see what's really happening? When we click on a video and somebody says, the craziest thing you've ever heard in your entire life, and gets 1 million views. Why? What's going on here? It's because framework-only persuasion offers three things that facts alone do not. All right? First, it offers a sense of belonging. If you see the world this way, well, then you're one of us, right? And imagine that in a time where isolation and loneliness and a deep lack of belonging is a real felt need in the world. This is something that a social media influencer can toy with and manipulate. I'm going to leave it right there. Second, it offers a sense of identity. Well, this is what smart people see and understand. This is what truth seekers stand for, right? And third, it offers a moral high ground. Because when you join the club and you agree with these types of folks, you're helping to make the world a better place and fix what went wrong. But when you disagree, guess what? You're not just someone who holds a different conclusion. You're part of the problem. Once these pieces are in place, evidence doesn't feel like information anymore. It feels like an attack on the tribe. Now, there's an even deeper explanation for all of this that really, in my opinion, goes all the way back to the beginning and explains, how we got here on a much more thorough level, going pre-Enlightenment. And anyway, I've been giving this talk recently, and I'm going to do so again around the country next year. The talk is called Is Truth Oppression? If you want to see the full talk, it's up on my Patreon right now. But you don't need to get to this video. Let me just close with a way forward for you, okay? Because the proper response, I would even say the Christian response, is not to stop contesting frameworks, right? So remember, On the debate stage, both sides are always fighting over framework. And whoever lays the better framework wins. So what do we do now? That's a good question. We need to do two things. The first thing that we need to do is we need to learn how to recognize the framework that's being laid on all of us. Most persuasion today does not sound like, here's my argument, right? Here's my claim, data, and warrant. It sounds like, here's how you should interpret every argument before you hear it.
Right.
It is vitally important that we call that out.
I'm going to jump in real quick and shout out to Nate Sala, and his link is in the description. I believe the mods have dropped it as well. I found this fascinating because I'm not a debate person. I'm not a formal debater at all. I do understand some logical fallacies though. And I was wondering, it seems like some of this that he's saying, like presenting the framework before you're into such of that nature, seems almost like begging the question or assuming and such of that nature. So if you're solid in those logical fallacies, are you violating logical fallacies by making some of these claims that he says that, I mean, let's just be honest, that's what Candace does. She breaks some of those logical fallacies, it seems like to me, but that was just something I noticed I want to bring up real quick. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Make sure you get your bingo board. Candace is supposed to be going live at 5, so we'll be ready to go. So let's finish up. A good and proper response would sound something like this. Okay, notice what just happened here. Before any evidence was offered, before a proper argument was even made, a lens was imposed that already decided the conclusion, and it already decided what counts as evidence. That move alone should slow the conversation down. It should force things back into the open. It exposes assumptions that were meant to stay hidden. Now, most people have never been taught to see that move. You need to show them. Amen? Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is you don't just tear down, okay? You lay a better framework. Why? Because if you only deconstruct frameworks, you leave people homeless. You have to invite them into a new and better framework that can actually handle evidence instead of fearing it. And this is where Christianity has an enormous advantage. If you're willing to use it. The Christian framework actually says that truth is not constructed by power. Truth is not manufactured by language. Truth is not owned by a particular tribe. Truth corresponds to reality because reality was created by God. I might have to run that back. I thought that was an excellent point. I think that's a great point. Let me bring that back up again. I'm going to back up a little smidgen.
Framework actually says that truth is not constructed by power. Truth is not manufactured by language. Truth is not owned by a particular tribe. Truth corresponds to reality because reality was created by God. That framework doesn't just assert truth. It explains why arguments, evidence, and reasoning matter in the first place.
Excellent.
You still with me?
I'm right there.
And most importantly, it does not insulate itself from critique. It invites questions and scrutiny. This is the thing, man. Christianity does not say you're evil if you ask this question. It says question. Test this. Examine this. See if it actually explains the world better. This is why Paul says this in 1 Thessalonians. This is chapter.
Now, let me point something out. That's why Christianity has matured and grown since the first century. That's why Christianity not only shapes the culture, but grows and matures along with as it shapes the culture. That's also why another certain religion looks like a 6th century goat herder. Just making a point. Shout out. Let's go.
Chapter 5, verse 21. Test everything. Hold fast to what is good. Abstain from every form of evil. Here's a question. How can you do that without asking questions and using your mind to weigh arguments? Let me say that again. To weigh arguments, not just buy into somebody's framework and evaluate, truth and good and evil. We should test these things. We should test frameworks, ladies and gentlemen. We should see whether or not someone has a legitimate argument with an actual warrant. This is what the Bible and Christianity is inviting you into, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
This is why David says in Psalm 34, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good."
He's good, yes.
Right? This is why the Bereans in Acts chapter 17 were considered to be so incredibly noble. It's because they didn't just believe wholesale what Paul was telling them, but they went back to evaluate his claims in light of God's word. This is why God says to his people in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18, "Come, let us reason together, says the Lord." Right? In debate terms, Christianity doesn't just lay a framework, it makes a case. Creation explains why truth exists at all. The fall explains why we distort the truth and suppress it. Redemption explains why truth confronts us instead of flattering us. And Christ explains why truth is personal without becoming subjective. That's not a vibe. That's not spin. That's a framework with contentions and warrants and explanatory force. Can you see that?
It's not a vibe.
One last thing I'll say here, and it's so vitally important too. Character matters in all of this, ladies and gentlemen. Character matters. The problem really goes back to trust. We have a trust problem in the world right now. And when trust is broken, people do not just evaluate frameworks. Listen, they evaluate framework bearers. If you're arrogant, if you're careless with facts, if you're addicted to outrage, your framework will not persuade. It may in the beginning, but people will notice. Even if what you're saying is true, people will notice. Especially if what you're saying is false, people will notice. So when a Christian calmly identifies the flaws in a rival framework, right, shows where it eats itself, and then offers a better count of reality, a better framework that makes sense of what we're seeing in the world right now, people will listen. Amen?
I like it.
So if facts don't change minds anymore, it's not because the truth disappeared. It's because trust collapsed. And the way back is not abandoning the framework battle. It's fighting it well. And when people are exposed to the shortcomings of another's framework and they are invited into a better one, invited, not pressured, not flattered, not fear-mongered, but a framework built on substance and not slogans and suspicion, people will change their minds. So let's pray. Let's pray for the country. Let's pray for the world. Amen. Let's pray for the hearts of and minds of so many that are taken with lies and fear and manipulation. Join me in praying, because that's exactly what I'll be doing. And at the end of the day, we all need the light of the gospel to show us the way back to the truth. And the truth is a person, and his is the powerful name of Jesus Christ.
I like it. Shout out to The Wise Disciple. The link is down in the description. That was a great video. I thought it was an excellent job of explaining some of the things that we've been trying to figure out. Like, why is this looking like this? Or why have we not been able to successfully have dialogue with Cantifa? So shout out for sure. Thank you so much to the mods for making sure that was linked in the linked in the chat as well. What do we have here? We got some, shout out to Betsy, a brand new member. Shout out to you, Betsy. Grace and peace to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. And thank you, Paula, please forgive me, for the $10 super. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you so much for your support. I actually did it twice. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. You're the stream sponsor right now. Shout out. And then Eric says this, do your audience members even know the difference between exegesis and eisegesis? Very good question. I'm going to assume that they do or do not. I'm not going to assume that they do or do not. I will just say that exegesis is reading out of the passage or out of the text what's in the text. what was the meaning of the author when he wrote this, and who was the author writing it to. So you say, this is what was in the text, and I'm getting out what's in there. Eisegesis is me bringing my own thoughts, my own perceptions, my own biases, and I'm reading them into the text. And we've all seen people do that with scripture. So shout out. Thank you so much, Eric, for the $5 super right there. I appreciate you, brother. Okay, now we, real quick, I got my bingo board. I feel good that I feel like this was going to be a good one. When I see what Candace is allegedly going to be talking about today, which, by the way, will not be any form of foreign military assassins. So she will not be talking about that. I'm going to keep bringing that up because she'll never bring that up. I really believe that her lawyers told her that she needs to walk that back. I really think her lawyers told her to walk that back because there's no other reason why she doesn't talk about it at all. That's why, by the way, and a lot of people have asked me, I got a couple emails, a couple text messages about why I am not wearing my maroon, because I usually wear maroon and all that kind of good stuff like that. Like, Jason, where's your maroon? And as you see down here in the title, I'm actually on PTO. I realize that, the end of the year is coming up, and as an assassin, we get like PTO time with every paycheck, and I had not been taking my vacation. So actually I'm on vacation. So that's it. Why am I not wearing my maroon? Because I'm on assassin vacation. That's why. So shout out for sure to Maroon Assassin PTO time. And I'll be back on January 1. I'll be back. Do you believe Tyler killed Charlie Kirk all on his own? See, that's actually two questions in themselves. Do I believe Tyler killed Charlie Kirk? Yes. Do I believe he had assistance? Yes. There you go. I don't believe he did it on his own, but I don't think that any of us do it on our own. When you really think about it, there's always somebody who interacted with you. Maybe they knowingly interacted with you, like, hey, I'm going to help you hide the evidence, or they didn't know and they were like, oh, I'm your Uber driver. So everybody in some way, shape, or form has some form of help and assistance. Is that suspicious? Wait, what's suspicious? Hold on, wait. Let me get suspicious ready. Hold on one second.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Wait, what's suspicious? Elizabeth, what have I done? What have I done that's suspicious this early? That's not the question. That's one question, assuming you already believed it was Tyler. Okay. I mean, you're welcome to believe somebody else did it. I'm not saying that you can't believe anybody else did it. I have no reason to believe anyone else did it. And if you give me some facts and say, hey, here's another person that was seen carrying a gun, or this is a person that was doing that and other, okay, fine. But just to say, well, maybe there was somebody else out there, we don't know that. I'm not going to do that. There's no reason to. Maroon PTO, yeah, absolutely. Oh, is that why? Yeah, so every now, we get that PTO time on our paychecks, and I just had a lot of PTOs I had to take for the end of the year. So I'm on vacation. I saw a couple people on Twitter threatening to call CPS on Candace Owens since her life is in danger. Therefore, her kids are in danger. I wonder if that scared her. She hasn't brought it up since. That's actually she put her foot in her mouth. I really don't think that her lawyers have more gray hair than me. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think she talked to her lawyers before she made that claim that the international espionage, Jason Bourne, John Wick situation was going. And I really think they were like, hold on, dude. Wait, what did you say? I don't think they knew it. I don't think her lawyers knew before she said that, in my opinion. No, not suspicious. Maroon PTO is suspicious. Remember, Candace said everybody who wears maroon is suspicious, and I wear a lot of maroon, so I'm trying to blend in with the people now. I don't want people to know what I'm about. All right, let's see what we got. If Candace shows the ID from her thumbnail, it will answer so many questions. Okay, we will see. We will see. I think the pressure is on her, and she's now starting to make decisions that she probably wouldn't have done before. Shout out Jen for sure. As far as I know, the trial is supposed to start in May, and it should be televised. As far as I know, if we're talking about the Tyler Robinson case, it's supposed to be televised, so you know that. Whew, it's going to be a long day. It will be a long day. I've not ever shot a 30-06 rifle. But my goodness, I had another good video. Crackers, I did not, hold on. There was a great video about, hold on one second. There was a really good video that someone sent me last night about the infamous 30-06 rifle and its projectiles. And it was really informative. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got to make sure I save that. And you know what I did? What did I do, y'all? Y'all know what I did? I didn't save it. Let me go look at my history real quick. It was great. And I wanted to talk about it because it answers a lot of questions that people had today about it. Let me see. I might find it real quick. Sadly, I have a lot of videos to scour through real quick. But I will make sure to get it to you. Let's see. Shoot. All right, I don't have it. One of my mods sent it to me. They know who they are. If you remember what it is, if you could send it to me, still got time. I could play it very quickly. And it answers a lot of questions about 30-06 and the projectiles that it dispels. Hold on, let me look right here. I know y'all are like, man, what is this dude doing? Like, but that's how you know this is a real show. We over here trying our best. Oh, it was an email. That's right. Hit Timothy on the email. He'll get you all the details. All right. Yesterday, Asmongold. Oh, man, I started to watch that and I did not finish it. Oh, because my daughter started talking to me. And when college student is home, you just talk to her. She just wants to talk. Oh, I forgot about that. Now I got to go back and find it. Clowned her so bad. He was showing her live chat and it was bad. Okay, I will have to, darn, I said, oh man, I need to come back and watch this. And never did. I know y'all can't believe that I'm disorganized. I know y'all can't believe that. Yeah, now we got a whole fleet, man. It's a whole fleet. Now it's 4 planes. I guarantee you she's going to add another one to it. I guarantee you she'll add another one. Before the smoke clears, she'll probably add one more. There'll be 5. A whole handful, literally. No, I appreciate it. I'm glad y'all was thinking about me. Yeah, you all keep me on my toes for sure. Yes, Shonda Freuda is a free space. That is the free space. Because we're all here making fun of somebody. We might as well take credit for it. All right, where'd it go? All right. I know it was Goose that sent it to me. And sadly, I don't know where it is. Anyway, it was a very good description about the bullets that a 30-06 can use. And it was very informative. So I'll find it. And maybe I'll do it during a commercial break or whatnot. So unless Goose sends it to me again in email, because I can't find it. What's going on with you? What's happening, friend? How are you? Lots of good folk done jumped in. There's 727 people up in this place. Can y'all do me a favor, please, and hit that like button? And let me know what your like number is. That'd be great. A little bit of musical interlude here. All right, what I'm going to do, let's bring in Candace's favorite comedian and what he had to say about red flags about Candace. Let's go.
Where her rhetoric became as clearly anti-Semitic as it is now, before her rhetoric became as clearly anti-Semitic as it is now, were there any red flags you saw in Candace Owens that should have alerted us?
We had a few conversations. They were civil. Years ago, before all the Israel stuff, it's one thing when somebody gets on a public podcast and they're a leftist and they have completely the opposite ideology of you politically, philosophically, and they make their case and they make it poorly. All right, I disregard it. But if somebody gets out there purporting to agree with you and hold the same philosophy of you, like as a conservative, and they do it poorly, you're like, wait a minute. So I'll be specific. She was on an episode of Joe Rogan after she sort of blew up as this conservative pundit firebrand. And she starts talking about climate change, okay? And he goes, so what's your thoughts on climate change? She goes, I just don't like believing it like at all. I just don't like believing it like at all. Now, I can tell you, I have my skepticism about the whole climate change narrative from the left, but I read Alex Epstein and I've read a lot about the reasons why a lot of climate catastrophism is overblown. You can get into the weeds of those arguments, but she didn't have any of those arguments. She just adopted a point of view because that's what you're supposed to do now when you're team conservative. And I kind of saw her adopting a brand from a sort of parasitic standpoint, like I can use this conservative brand to build an audience. And before this, I was kind of a liberal and I did that. And initially I used to dox people online for online bullying. Can you believe that? That's what she did before this. So there was this pattern I saw, and I'm sure there were some issues she was certainly passionate about and maybe more informed about than others, but to adopt the whole thing without critical thinking, but just because it suits you in building an audience, that was one big red flag, because she's on Joe Rogan just saying, I don't just like believing it like at all. She couldn't say why. She couldn't have an honest discussion about it because she didn't want to feel like she was abandoning what a conservative is supposed to say about climate change. And that's playing team sports tribalism. That's not having a consistent, principled worldview. And it does a disservice to conservatives, not to liberals. The second red flag was probably the Kanye tweet where she goes, and I debated this with her. She kept saying, okay, so he said DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people, DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people. So what? Like, you don't know what he meant by that. You don't know what he meant by that. Let's just wait. You don't know what he meant by that. How do we know what he meant? DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people. And I kept thinking, he didn't say some. You keep saying some. And that's very different than DEFCON 3 on Jewish people versus DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people. So it's at the smallest little minutia of levels where there's a manipulation going on, because there's a huge difference between on some Jewish people versus Jewish people. And I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill. It's very precise, it's very calculated to try to just use a manipulative tactic in talking about these things, and you're just not being an honest actor when talking about this because you want to defend a famous friend who said, I like the way Candace Owens thinks, and I think years later, she likes the way Kanye West thinks. If you get that kind of clout from a major celebrity, you're not going to let that go. And it tells me what motivates you, and it's not principles and values, it's clout.
All right, shout out to Ami, and I thought that was an excellent response. And a lot of people now are starting to see that, man, there was something about Candace back before that we just didn't pay attention to and such like that. I did find Dr. Springload, which is a funny name, this video. I thought it was excellent for explaining, again, how the 30-06 enters into the fray. So, Dr. Springfield, please forgive me. So it's two guys. They're acting like a doctor. One is a patient and one is a doctor. So you kind of got to get the understanding of the shtick. Maybe we'll watch it twice, but I thought it was excellent. And let's bring it in and let y'all see what I'm talking about.
Hey, Doc Springfield, I know it's real late, but can I please come in, sir?
Get in here, boy.
Oh, hi.
I don't have all day.
All right, I keep losing livestock. Something is killing them and just leaving them lay there. I need a prescription from you to deal with this issue.
You need medicine. Big medicine.
Yes, but what kind do you think?
Let me ask you this, boy. What kind of predator fancies your livestock? Is it a pack of wolves?
No.
Is it a pride of pumas?
What?
Is it a she-bear?
No, I believe it's a coyote.
That's too big of a pill for you. But this will do nicely. Yes. Yes, it will.
What is it?
125 grain SST bullet. Blazing fast. Frangible like a grenade. It'll dump its energy into that beast.
Like a shockwave?
Indeed, a hydrostatic one.
What kind of instrument should I use to administer this medicine to that beast?
30-06.
Isn't that a little much? Maybe? Perhaps?
Boy, you don't come to Dr. Springfield for anything but strong medicine. Now take your prescription and leave.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Boy,
Yes?
if something a little meaner, a little stouter, comes at your livestock again, I've got medicine for them too.
Shout out to the mute button. Shout out to Dr. Springfield. I really truly believe that Candace is preparing for the inevitable of realizing that matter of fact, let me back up for a second. If Tyler Robinson got his weapon from his grandfather, what's the likelihood that his grandfather gave him not only the weapon, but also the projectiles? I think it'd be pretty fair because he wasn't a hunter. He got it like as an heirloom. So he probably wasn't going out using it every weekend or going out testing it and so forth. So he might have even gotten the projectiles from his grandfather. There's no reason to believe that his grandfather was out hunting elk or bear or anything of that nature. So he was probably hunting something very small, like a coyote, like a fox. And that bullet would have been the right remedy for the right medicine for that type of issue. I think Candace is preparing the fact that she's about to get really, really embarrassed. Here, let me bring it back in just in case you missed it. Shout out to, again, Dr. Springfield. Do I have the link here? Let me see, drop it in here for y'all. Yes, here it is right here. Bada boom. All right, just dropped it in the chat for you as well. Check it out. I mean, great points. Let's bring it in again.
Hey, Doc Springfield, I know it's real late, but can I please come in, sir?
Get in here, boy.
Hi.
I don't have all day.
All right. I keep losing livestock. Something is killing them and just leaving them lay there. I need a prescription from you to deal with this issue.
You need medicine. Big medicine.
Yes, but what kind do you think?
Let me ask you this, boy. What kind of predator fancies your livestock? Is it a pack of wolves?
No.
Is it a pride of pumas?
What?
Is it a she-bear?
No, I believe it's a coyote.
That's too big of a pill for you. But this will do nicely. Yes. Yes, it will.
What is it?
125 grain SST bullet. Blazing fast, frangible like a grenade. It'll dump its energy into that beast.
Like a shockwave?
Indeed, a hydrostatic one.
What kind of instrument should I use to administer this medicine to that beast?
30-06.
Isn't that a little much? Maybe? Perhaps?
Boy, you don't come to Dr. Springfield for anything but strong medicine. Now take your prescription and leave.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Boy,
Yes?
if something a little meaner, a little stouter, comes at your livestock again, I've got medicine for them too.
All right. So shout out to Dr. Springfield. I thought that was super informative. And it does go along with what I understood about ballistics. And again, I think that the actual channel is called, I just had it up. Oh man, Jason. The actual channel is Hopeful Ballistics. So check them out. Definitely give them some shout out. And I think it's also super interesting the day that they posted this video. I'm not going to tell you what day it was. I'm not going to do that, but I want you to go check out their short. The link is down in the description. Matter of fact, I'll drop it again. And just notice the day that this was posted. which is very, very interesting, to say the least. So shout out to the best live chat on the planet. Are we talking about Charlie Kirk? Please move on to the new video. We're talking about Charlie Kirk. Please move on to a new video. Okay. All right. I guess I don't know who that is. Thank you so much for your insight and wisdom. I thought Brand just let her ramble on his show, but I did not know he supported it. I don't. That was Russell Brand. I'm totally disappointed in that. You got to go check it out, Loyal, and give him a look, give him a like. You got to. All right, let me see. Oh, is she going live yet? Let's see. Has she hit the go button? She hit the go button. Let's go. All right, Jason, let's go. All right, we're ready to pop and lock. We're ready. We're locked and loaded, man. We're ready. All right. We're ready, y'all good people. Let's get ready to have some fun. Got your bingo boards? Let's get at it. Let's get active. Only thing is I can't tell you how high the audio is. Her audio is always something messed up. I don't know what that is. All right, lots of good folk up in here. Appreciate y'all. Was it 850 y'all? Thank y'all so much for doing this. Thank you for jumping in with us, hanging out with us this afternoon. I don't know if she's going to do a live tomorrow, but if she does, we will. Otherwise, I got some plans for tomorrow. A little candy related. If she's not going to be live streaming tomorrow, we have something better planned. Why y'all talking about Russell Brand's chest hair? Y'all are wild, man. that would probably be true. He said I did my chores. I have time for an hour-long cartoon. That is the best. All right, let's get popping.
Okay, everyone. Happy Thursday. I have to tell you that I was laughing so much yesterday because I received a flood of emails from law enforcement officers, military guys that were just like, no way, absolutely not. That's where I draw the line. The bomb dogs missed the gun. Apparently, for people who work with bomb dogs, this is more of an offense to their intelligence than the Man of Steel neck. Like, it was just a bridge too far. This is where they are drawing a line in terms of Fed slop. Anyway, we have another unbelievable episode for you guys here today. I thought long and hard about whether to bring on the eyewitness from Fort Huachuca. And I think when we speak to him today and he gives you his testimony, you will, of course, understand why. I am always honored to have any person that serves in our military, especially honored to have him, given all that he has lived through, despite the firestorm that I know that both he and I are about to endure. Welcome back to Candace.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it. Here we go.
Okay, so a couple of things before we get into that interview. I, at the top of the show, first want to tell you about this interesting question that I received yesterday from one of our viewers over on X that I wanted to address. He asked me specifically if I saw black plastic fragmentation over the floor of Charlie's SUV. I was immediately struck by this question because I am not kidding when I tell you that the very first thing that I noticed when I went through those photos of Charlie's SUV, I said to my team that it looked like there were shards of glass, like tempered glass that you might see if you drop or break an iPhone. It was very distinct to me in the picture from the blood that is all over the seats and all over the floor. I was like, oh, maybe like someone broke a window or something. And then I sort of put it out of my mind. And particularly, I noticed a lot of it spread across that back seat rear floor. So I'm going to show you that, just a couple of photos of that close up so that you can see it, what that looks like, because, yeah, it was just kind of a compelling thing that he noticed something that I noticed, and you can see it was unusual. I think in this person's mind, they the line that they were going down, I guess the line of questioning that they were going down in their own mind was, is this evidence that something broke on Charlie? Could something have been?
I'm going to go with, it's probably evidence that that's not the real vehicle. That's what I'm going to go with, because yeah, broken glass, that does look like broken glass. It's very possible somebody's punking you, Candace. I don't know how many times God has got to show Candace that she's wrong and she's going down the wrong avenue. So now they're going to go with broken glass. So the reason Charlie Kirk didn't get shot by Tyler Robinson is because of broken glass in the SUV. She's getting made a fool of.
Rigged. And I want to say that we can't necessarily extrapolate that from what we're looking at. It could be 1,000 other things. Somebody could have actually broken a phone in there. Somebody could have had something in there. It could be broken hard candy. I mean, there's a lot going on. And yeah, but I did want to address that because it was interesting that he noted it and asked if we saw little black bits, and I do. That is visually what I see. I am hesitant, by the way, to put up the rest of the photos. Kind of still going through that. I want to be slow on that because obviously I don't want the federal officers, the good guys that are in there who have assisted in this, to be rumbled, right? I don't want people cash to go on a hunt and figure out who gave us what, and people to start getting fired. We need to have the white knights in government. So I just need some time to think about that.
I don't think this is real.
Anyways, what we can do, however, and what we're starting to formulate now are just addressing these data points, right? These mysterious circumstances, these things.
Again, I don't think those pictures are real. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to put myself out there. I don't think those pictures are real. I think that somebody has sent you some pictures and told you that that's what happened and said this is the interior of Charlie Kirk's SUV. And you have no way of guaranteeing knowing that that's true. You have no way, and you don't care. You just want to show information to muddy up the waters. That's the problem, Candace. That's why you keep getting punked.
Things that don't necessarily make sense. What do we actually know about that day? And what's really interesting for me is when I review these data points, I can't fathom how there are people out there right now trying to convince you that there is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson committed this crime. There's no evidence outside of these shady messages that are not even time-stamped. We don't have a confession from him. We have nothing. Okay, so
that's funny.
Some data points for you to remember as we go through this.
I'll move out the way.
The surgeon never confirmed or even suggested that Charlie was shot with a .30-06 or that Charlie had a steel neck that stopped that bullet. Rather, he suggested throughout the course of a conversation that maybe a frangible bullet was used. The lone confirmed eyewitness that we have that is confirmed to the alleged shooter on Losey Center rooftop before the sound goes off, the sound of a shot rings out, has not been contacted by the lawyers or the investigators on either side of this trial, the pending trial. We are now in the phase where investigators are supposed to go out and be collecting more evidence pending the May probable cause hearing. He still has not been contacted. And why is that crucial? Because this individual is an instructor at a gun range. He claims the weapon that he saw looked more like a .223, quote, something shorter than the one that they found. The person that he observed was wearing what seemed to him to be black tactical gear plus a face mask, and he describes that person as looking like a professional.
Real quick, I got a question for you. If the person that she's supposed to bring on is so important, if the person she's going to bring on is going to blow the lid off of this whole story, why are we doing this right now? Why is this taking up the majority of your time? And dare I say the most interesting, the opening salvo of your time? Why are you not bringing on your guest? I think we know why.
The bomb dogs were unable to locate the weapon in the field where it was eventually discovered, despite the fact that they had crawled over that area. They just weren't on their game that day. This is not my favorite part of the story. It's just I just didn't expect the reaction to be what it was. I just love the people that are like, no, absolutely, we are done with the Fed slop. Instead, what happened was federal agents directed local officers to the weapon. Lucky feds. The canines were not provided with the scent of the weapon once it was discovered, so they did not then take that weapon and then have the dogs trace it back to the top of Lossie. That did not happen. Terrell Farnsworth, still major question marks. He raced to remove the camera that was directly behind Charlie's head. I want to tell you, by the way, I'm reading myself into this, so not a data point, but in my mind, when I imagine why he might have done that, I think it's because they were going to go with this story that
Wow.
30-06 hit Charlie Kirk, and what debunked that obviously would be seeing that it didn't go through. There was no evidence of what should have been a tremendous amount of damage done to his neck. I also want to say here, because I've heard that various people like Terrell are getting death threats. Obviously, if you're watching this show, we are investigating what happened with Charlie Kirk. I have been clear that I do believe that there are some people that are engaged in a cover-up.
Does she realize that she's the one that's causing these people to be put in harm's way? Nobody's going after these people but your crazy wackadoodle folk. You actually put this person's name out there. You're saying his name right now, for crying out loud. Y'all, this woman is Lord, please humble her.
I am never giving anybody the permission to, go be a
But you're
bandit
doing
and
it
go outside and take the law into your own hands.
Hold on. Wait up. Hold on. That's what you do when you ask the people to go research this stuff. You're deputizing them to do things like this. I'm not saying that you're telling them to break the law, but you're telling them to do things, and they probably carry it too far, Candace. This cannot be the first time you've heard this.
Ever be doing and engaging in. Next data point that we have, federal agents prevented the surgeon from returning to his operating room. I told you that was something that startled him, and he placed a call, presumably to DC, to make them move because he wanted, obviously, the team to get back in there to clean it, to make sure that Charlie could get cleaned up before Erica came in. Federal agents removed the hospital surveillance footage. They're on a manhunt. And for some reason, that seemed like something that they should do. That strikes me as tremendously odd. We have that the vehicle in which Charlie was transported to Timpanogos Hospital was not impounded by law enforcement. It's very odd. And there were multiple sets of prints on the weapon that was found, something that I did not share with you, but I did know this for some time, and I can confirm this to you.
Hold on. You know what? I don't usually stop in the middle to do a super, but this super jumped out at me. Thank you, Jocelyn, for the 5. First of all, this right here is gold. This is exactly why she's doing this. Shout out to you. She says this. She's going through the confirmed data points, quote unquote, to remind Candice why they ever trusted her. It's bothering her so much that they turned on her past meeting. Thank you so much. That is exactly it. Shout out. That is it. Man, that was good.
That's one of their things. They got the prints of Tyler Robinson on this gun. There were multiple sets of prints that were on the gun that was recovered thanks to the instincts of the feds and not the noses of the dogs. And finally, and I think this is a big thing, the footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in is apparently missing. And I have told you guys, and again, I'm reading myself into this, that in my investigation, I found that their entire story about how the parents turned him in and did the right thing is crap. It is BS. That's not what happened. They were told either, these doors are going to get broken down or you're going to come in peacefully. And Tyler chose the latter. I also was told by police officers that were there when he came into the police that they were told not to look at him. They were told to avoid cameras. Very strange things that happened when he did eventually come in. And we won't know how strange because apparently the footage is missing, according to local Utah news, that they didn't say a FOIA. There's another term. What was it? Gamma requested for that footage. And we're basically told, well, now there's been an expiration on that footage and we don't have it. So maybe they just mean they already handed it over to investigators. I don't know, but we will wait and see. That's a lot that is going on. I want to pivot now because our instincts, which they keep mocking us over, I think are on the money. We're going to talk now about Christianity.
See? What? Okay. She's about to bring on the guy that's going to blow the lid off of this, and she would rather do these things. I'm telling you, that guy's going to be a nothing burger.
Christianity. I'm putting that in quotation marks.
Wow.
It has been on this podcast a recurring theme, right? I keep sensing
because you're not a Christian
that these pastors are dangerous, right? I've covered extensively how even just amongst the Calvary Chapel in particular, there's just way too much of a habit of establishing former pedophiles and drug traffickers as lead pastors of churches. Okay, I'm not saying that people can't find God. I'm just saying that my preference would be that they maybe not be provided with access to children, right?
Wow. It's kind of like Andrew Tate. Like, you literally sat down with Andrew Tate. You literally sat down with Harvey Weinstein. You did, Candace, but you have no problem with that. Wow. Wow.
If you committed a crime against a child. This is a preference that I guess is not, or perhaps is in conflict with the beliefs and the preferences of Rob McCoy, who makes my skin crawl. We showed you that interview that he did with somebody who apparently went on a rampage. He actually went to prison for it, and he was just sort of laundering his reputation and then gave him access again to children. I feel like that is very wrong. I have also on this show been speaking a lot about these quote unquote Christian influencers. Something's not right. A lot of women who seem to know their Bibles for almost.
Okay, I'm going to do my very best not to go off on this, but the fact that Candace is about to berate Christian content creators who've been calling her out when she herself can't find the book of Genesis, if you gave her a Bible, that's crazy work. This is crazy work, y'all. Please, I'm not going to rage quit. I'm not going to do it.
Implicit and explicit aim of socially engineering the population, right?
What?
Telling you, oh, it's right here in the Bible. Same with the pastors. God doesn't want you to follow Tucker Carlson on Instagram.
What?
Josh Hammer is amazing. Candace is possessed by a demon. You don't want to be possessed by a demon, so unfollow Tucker Carlson and unfollow Candace. And I promise there's no other motivations. Candace is just crazy, and you should listen to me. Similarly, there are so many conservative media companies who are run by former military intelligence, people that leave naval intelligence.
We're actually on our 7th piece of information, and she's only been on the air for 6 minutes. Just want you to know that.
People that lead the Mossad, suddenly their aim is to speak about Judeo-Christian values. They found God after they leave the military. I'm not saying that that's impossible. I'm just saying that this is something that we have discussed a lot on this podcast. I have been suggesting to you all that faith has been infiltrated by the military, and people laughed. They laughed. Well, you guys didn't laugh, but like, oh, what do you mean
I laugh
by
at you all the
that?
time.
Well, you guys pull up a chair because it's about to get even more interesting. Fort Huachuca, as many of you in the military have informed me, is actually an intelligence base. Now, for those of you who are ignorant like me regarding the structure of the military, this is an important distinction to make in your mind, because when we think about military bases, at least me, maybe you can, you have the same mindset. I tend to think about where they're scrambling off the planes, off of an airbase, if there's an attack, right? Oh, quickly jump into your planes and get into the air, or maybe get into the sea. It just requires an immediate response. But that is not what Fort Huachuca in Arizona is, okay? It is a hub for intelligence training. Civilians can be turned into intelligence assets on this base. They can take courses to join the intelligence community, okay? Just giving you one example of an email that I got, quote, just FYI, Fort Huachuca is where soldiers go for their MIT courses. That is Army Military Intelligence. Once a soldier has finished basic training, they go here for their advanced training for their actual job in Army Military Intelligence, end quote. Okay, now, among the many emails that I received regarding what sort of intelligence courses take place, I was absolutely floored when a person who grew up and lives just outside of the base in Sierra Vista told me something. I'm going to recount the story to you.
She sounds so much like she's making this up, y'all. Real quick, we gotta. I'm sorry. Let's real quick. Let's check my. Oh, we got military. Yo, my bingo board is crazy at the moment. All right, we're keeping it going, y'all. There's a lot of trust me, bro, right here. I think one of the only terms that are not going to get used is TPUSA. Because she seems like she is allergic to TPUSA, like it's lava. TPUSA lava. Yo, this is crazy work, y'all. She keeps getting these at some point, she's going to have to realize these people are infiltrated your tip line, Candace. They're giving you tips to make you do this. I'm telling you, these people are playing you. There's no other way to make that work. My sources. She did say my sources. There's a lot of words, these feeling words on here. Let's get done, man, Jason. Let's go.
And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of this so that I protect their identity. Basically, their story begins in May of 2013. They are two recently baptized Christians. Like I said, they grew up in this area, Sierra Vista, and they decided that they were going to pour their savings into starting a gym. Now, of course, because it's a gym that's located off base, they had a lot of clientele who happened to be associated with the base. And one such client was a woman that they met, a couple that they met that were on fire for the Lord, right? That couple made a sizable investment in their gym and became, quote unquote, founding members, okay? So the gym owners were drawn to this couple because they were so bold in their faith. They were like, I loved the bold proclamation of their faith, and we thought this is great, this is going to work. They accept money from them. So you can imagine that they were then completely surprised and shocked when this couple, over time, effectively staged something akin to a hostile takeover of their company, undermining them while pretending to be their friends, going behind their backs, propositioning other gym members. I'm going to be clear here. This is obviously allegedly.
Yo, this poor woman is telling this story because somebody overtook a CrossFit gym in Sierra Vista. And that's why Charlie Kirk was not deleted by Tyler Robinson. Y'all, I'm trying not to quit, man. She trying to make me rage quit. I think what it is, her and her team are like, how can we make Jason rage quit and stop watching our show and making fun of us? This is what we're going to say. Come on. Now, again, I want to just point out something. She's telling you this story, which is now the 9th piece of information in the first opening salvo, instead of introducing you to the man that's going to blow the whole lid off the whole thing. Okay.
I'm going to say allegedly here. The couple almost lost everything in the process, and they had to start all over again. Now, what was once the fastest growing gym in Sierra Vista, suddenly they were forced to relocate and downsize their company entirely. So now it's 2015. They are in their new, smaller location of a gym. And I'm going to read this next portion of the email that I received verbatim. Again, allegedly, because he names an individual who I do not know. I've never heard of this individual, but I feel it is relevant because I'd like to learn more. The email continues, quote, "We were struggling, sometimes barely making rent, but still serving the community, including military students who came through for 4 to 6 month training courses." Okay, I'm going to stress that again. Got all these students that are coming in, and their training is lasting between 4 to 6 months. So they're signing up for this gym. Back into the quotation. One morning, I noticed a female military member lingering after class. She was visibly distressed, so I kept the gym open longer than usual to give her space to talk. We ended up conversing for about 45 minutes, and what she shared with me has stuck with me ever since. She said she, quote, "could not take it anymore." When I asked for details, she explained that her stress was coming from a class that she was taking on Fort Huachuca, taught by none other than Bruce Bevins.
I quit.
My ears perked up when I heard his name as I immediately remembered the incident with his wife. This young woman described Bruce as, quote, "the most evil man that she had ever met." She then revealed something that I wasn't expecting at all. The class's objective was to teach military personnel to infiltrate Christian groups and organizations through covert psychological operations. The training focused specifically on deceiving Christians. At the time, I didn't fully connect the dots. Our gym was and still is an openly Christian faith-based organization. But looking back,
does anybody realize how coincidental Candace's stories happen to be? It just so happens somebody emailed you about a CrossFit gym getting hostile takeover. It just so happens somebody told you that they were in a 35-year NDA and it expired and they ran across Brian Harpole. Does she not realize the weird coincidences that keep happening to her? Does she not realize that her tip line is her biggest op? If she just went out and did her own research, she probably would do better off.
Back now, I have to wonder if the infiltration and the destruction of our gym was actually a training exercise or a field assignment. I also wonder if the distressed young soldier was sent to our gym on assignment from Bruce, but couldn't follow through with her objectives and instead chose to confide in me. There were other students who will corroborate this type of training. 2 military students, both named blank and blank, I'm redacting that, passed through our gym during this same period. They shared similar stories, but seemed much more advanced in their training. On one occasion, after I asked what was so funny in the back of my class, they privately shared that they had just returned from an overnight field training mission with very little sleep. Their objective had been to deceive civilians in Tucson, about an hour north of us. They practiced at local bars and public venues on unsuspecting people, telling lies, remembering those lies, and maintaining their false personas without, quote unquote, breaking character. They laughed about their conquests while working out at our gym. Now, I got the impression that their deception sometimes extended to sexual encounters with their targets. At the time, I found this disturbing, but I did not know what to make of it. Now, 12 years later, and watching the situation unfold with Charlie Kirk and learning that some of his most trusted people may have been trained operatives who infiltrated Turning Point USA, these memories suddenly seem significant. You mentioned previously that there was a strange military background connection among some of the people involved. I am now wondering if instructors like Bruce Bevins trained some of these individuals before they infiltrated Christian organizations like Turning Point USA, end quote. Now, I obviously cannot confirm just yet. I'm sure after the show, we're going to get a bunch of emails, the allegations against Bruce. Again, I have never heard of this individual. What I can say to you is on a guttural level, I feel this is accurate. I do. It is what I have noticed. It's what I've been pointing to you all year. Many of these pastors are behaving like operatives, and many of these Christian influencers are behaving like operatives. And I keep telling you that all roads, including the Egyptian, here Israeli planes, lead to the front door of Turning Point USA Faith. I kept saying there's something when Faith suddenly infiltrated and something happened to this organization. And I feel this email is a big piece of the puzzle. Okay. So if you played a part in these exercises on Fort Huachuca base where you were learning instructions about how to be a good little Christian to infiltrate and potentially to overthrow a Christian organization, and maybe you're having some second thoughts about your soul and you'd like to speak to me about it off record, please email moretips@CandaceOwens.com. And I would also like you all to remember that we suddenly have been experiencing wall-to-wall panic ever since we mentioned Fort Huachuca. We saw this. It's crazy. I mean, the articles right now are unhinged. They are just doing fiction. The panic button was pressed when we mentioned Fort Huachuca and the alleged meeting that happened on the morning of September 9th. So we're going to get into that. And by the way, for those of you that thought that this person was making it up, he was apparently not familiar with metadata. I don't think he was. And he had not.
It's funny that she keeps bringing this up. I don't know. I don't think her people follow me, but I don't believe this person is going to come on camera. Sure. He's going to probably show you're going to probably show something that he quote unquote sent you, but that person's not coming on camera. That's not going to happen.
Not sent me the photos that he took that morning on the base. So he tells a story. I stepped outside, I got coffee. Well, because he thought he was going to right, and I'm laughing here, going to right the wrong of his past, he was sort of documenting himself while he was on the base. So he sends me over all of his stuff, and I literally was able to confirm with the metadata where he was, exactly what time it was, and see the background, obviously. And it's just a fact, okay? It's just a fact that this happened. He was there. I was also able to establish it because now this is beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, when we get back after this brief break from our sponsors, we are going to bring on, and this is his new name, Mitch. I've told you about who he believes he stumbled upon in that meeting, and I think that we need to focus on that. And you may learn more. I know I certainly did. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys,
y'all, this on abortion. Mitch is about to come, y'all. Mitch is about to jump into the chat. Y'all, I'm sorry. I don't even care. I don't think he's going to do it, but let's let him go. Thank you, Ruben. Raina with this as metadata matters. So did run that through something to verify these are real. I don't know. Again, it's Candace. So how do we know that any of this is real? Thank you so much, Crypto with the 5. Has anyone told you that you sound like the lead attorney? Hey, he's actually my mentor, so I take that as a very big compliment. Thank you so much. He's mentored me here on these YouTube streets, so shout out for sure. Thank you so much, Black Sigma with the 10. Jay, I want the audience to mark this down. The key to surveillance cameras in full context from rooftop to stairway, if it shows Tyler Robinson carrying the rifle, Candace is done. I'm just trying to figure out why she thinks that we're going to get all this evidence. Like we go down to Walmart and buy the evidence pack and see all the evidence. Like, what are you talking about, Candace? Thank you so much for that, Black Sigma. What do we have here? Is Nicole with 5. I'm convinced Erica presented a cease and desist. She's backtracking so much. Her fans hate it. I'm here for it. I agree 100%, by the way. Thank you so much. It's Nicole. Thank you so much, Mike, with the 10. Jason, my brother, the Lord. 0 second timeout for you. I streamed driving home from a road trip. Only grace kept me from hurting innocent people. Also, if I have drained my bank account, no, don't drain your bank account, my brother. Don't do it. Thank you for the 10 for sure. I appreciate it. What's Phantom coming up in here with the 2? No Christian should follow her after this. I'm trying to figure out why. And this is something I brought up to some friends of mine as well. Can somebody make a biblical argument for what Candace does? Like scripturally, like how would you make the case for Candace? Like if you were going to your pastor or an elder at your church and you were talking about Candace, how would you make the biblical case for what she does? Not the secular case, but the biblical case. Because I can make the biblical case for why Candace is complete and totally out of pocket, and I can make the secular case. But I just want to know, has anybody ever heard somebody make a biblical case for what Candace is doing? And Candace can't even do it. Let's keep it going. Thank you so much, Gracefully Rooted with the 2. Does she know the military has chaplains too? I don't think she does. You know what? I bet you she would look like stunned if you told her that. Thank you, Texas Bully Mom with the 5. I'm a military bot. Millibot. Beep, beep, beep. Well, shout out to you, Millibot, for sure. Jacqueline says this with the 5. Does she think Tyler Robinson's defense team is so stupid they can't prove it if the digital or forensic evidence presented at a trial is fed slop or not? She's pathetic. And I want to say that as well. Like, she makes it sound like Tyler Robinson's team doesn't want to win, as if they're like hamstrung. And the only way that they can win is by Candace coming in, swooping in with all this new evidence and stuff like that. That is the craziest thing I've heard. And I've heard a lot of crazy stuff because we watched this. Thank you, Maret, with the 5 says this. All of my questions about Candace were solidified when she refused to answer if she loved Charlie Kirk. And there we go. Thank you very much for that, by the way. And let's go again. Mike says this. Jason, my typo earned you an extra 5. If I had been in the best chat on the internet, I'd have drained my bank account on supers. I could not stop. Well, thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the very kind 5. Let's go. Phantom, never happened. U.S. military does not do this. But Phantom, she got a tip from the tip line that said that it did. How dare you say that she didn't, Phantom? Thank you for the 2, but you're going to have to go to 0 second timeout. We do not doubt and make fun of Candace like I'm doing right now. Stacy, thank you so much for the 5. Buy a root beer float or some treat for putting up with this demonic slop. I thought the panic button was hit for the planes. Look, I think the panic button, every time somebody pushes back, she couches it as panic. Nobody's panicking. I think it's actually quite comical. Let's just tell the truth. All right, she is back, so let's get back at it. Ladies and gentlemen, here she comes. Let's see if this guy comes up. I will be pleasantly surprised.
Other than the fact that I do just feel on a spiritual level that we have been infiltrated, I'll ask a broader question. Are all of our lives a bit like the Truman Show? Do we have essentially a cast of characters who are performing and pretending, and this is what kind of made everybody go crazy after the Turning Point USA event where Tucker asked the question, where does this guy's money come from? I mean, obviously Barry Weiss is one of these actors. This is clearly an act. You obviously are not intelligent. You obviously are not some journalist that worked their way up and broke some important story.
To call somebody unintelligent and to call somebody not a journalist, the irony is going to probably murder me tonight.
You are obviously an intelligence op, and not so intelligent op. Like, are we living in the Truman Show? Are we all going to work thinking that we can climb a ladder when in reality these people are just selected and given certain they're supposed to be certain characters. You're supposed to pretend like you're the head of a tech company and you're supposed to be super weird and quirky. I'm going to cast you into that role.
This is the if we go back to Nate Sala, the video about framing. This is the framing. She's muddying it up all together. So this is the framing that we was talking about. Shout out to Nate for sure.
And then we're going to call you a genius. And you're supposed to pretend that you're this super financial guru like a Jeffrey Epstein. And we're going to put you at the head of a finance company. You know, you have no background in this. That's kind of the theme that I'm seeing. Anyways, I don't want to waste too much more time because I do want to bring on Mitch, who apparently has what I would describe as, I don't know if it's the best or the worst luck ever in life, stumbling upon the feds when they're maybe up to no good. Mitch, welcome.
All right. Shout out. Mitch is on camera, so I'm wrong there. I will accept that. That background looks very, very official. Like, man, because that looks very super official. Shout out to Mitch for sure. This is going to be a mess.
To my podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be here, Candace. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Hold on.
So you know the story of how I instantly...
Hold on. Oh, wait, guys. Hold on. Wait up. Hold on. Look at this man. Tell me what the problem is, y'all. Hold on. Look at the man. Look at Mitch and tell me what the problem is. And you cannot be Phantom because I know Phantom has already figured it out. I know Phantom probably already figured it out. I see it right there. You want me to believe this man is 55 years old? Come on now. Hold up. I'm supposed to believe that this man is 50. I'm 52. Okay. That's what you want me to believe? Okay. Candace, you're being punked. I'm sorry. There's no way in the world you're going to tell my mama's son on this here internet that man is as old as me. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm going to assume that he was at least 20 because she made it sound like he was around 20. So that means he's like 55 years old. In 1990, we weren't taking 18 and 16-year-olds. This ain't World War II. This dude, he is entirely, I'm sorry. There ain't no way this man is 50-something years old.
The email from one of your friends that just said, you should call Mitch after I prayed and said, I'm missing a piece of this. Please, God, give me a piece
How
of this
coincidental.
story. And the first email I see when I get back from church on a day of holy obligation is this email. And so, Mitch, my audience is up to date on what happened to you when you were 20 years old. And I'm wondering if you can just sort of briefly recap in case I got some things wrong.
Okay, he's 20 years old.
Wow, briefly recap 35 years, sure.
All right, so so that means he's 55 years old. He was 20 years old when he found the drug cartel, put on 35-year NDA. Okay, all right.
We were part of a mission going down to the border with JTF 6, assigned from 10th Mountain. Previously, there had been a Marine Corps unit there. Apparently, they had an incident. We had to replace them. And they wanted a less kinetic unit to be involved. So we went down there in a matter of a few days, and I was the youngest guy on the team. And for the first few days, I got assigned to have to, do the hard work of putting in the sensors and following one of the border patrol who was on he was on horseback. got to learn a little bit about picking up signs in the desert, stuff like that, while we were placing these sensors down. It took a few days. I think we put in like 80 sensors or so along the border, and we were getting some. They thought it was some glitch signals coming back. Being that I had just gone through the course, I had the most updated information, and what we realized is they weren't glitch signals that these people were being sent out for. It was subterranean, and when I got pulled back to the JTF-6 headquarters, they were in discussions of trying to remove the Army. In case your viewers don't understand, when units get put together like this, especially this mission, there's a lot of contention even to this day between the Army and Border Patrol, and who gets to take credit and who gets to stay, who gets to go. And back then, Border Patrol, I think they just wanted us out of their hair. So they were having some sort of a big meeting, and it was a big do not disturb meeting. And I got assigned to the skeleton crew to sit back on the SMS, the receiver. And I was looking at the data while the skeleton crew of the Border Patrol was left there with me as well. And he was giving me a bad time about the Army equipment and how they were being sent out for no reason. And he kept giving me a bad time about it. So we were looking at the data and we started discussing things. And I brought up the fact that, I asked if there was any subways or something like that around. And between the two of us, the light bulb went on that, it was an underground tunnel. And within minutes, we could triangulate the signals and be able to pinpoint the location. And that's the information I got to hand off. So no, I didn't, go on the raid itself. Handing that information off was the probable cause they needed to be able to go get a warrant, go to the location, and also communicate with the Mexican authorities on the other side to perform a raid. And that's what happened.
Now, you're thinking, amazing, we have found the biggest cartel tunnel. There had never been one bigger previously discovered, I presume. Maybe there had been. I don't know, I'm going to become a hero. Maybe you're thinking, this is going to be great. And the exact opposite thing is true. And it's because they eventually find pictures of, was it an American lieutenant colonel? Who exactly? Sorry, I know you told me this. Was it a colonel?
One of the commanders that was with the Border Patrol was actually posed with a photo that was found on the Mexican side after the tunnel apparently had been built, along with other Mexican military and U.S. military. Mm-hmm. So there had been some collaboration. Prior to us getting there, there had been a lot of suspicion that the federal government knew that 80%, I think it was 60 to 80% of the cocaine was coming through the Douglas, Arizona area. And that's basically Region 6, or that's why they called it JTF 6. So they knew all the cocaine's coming through this one area. But the local authorities back then, came up with shrugs like, oh, we just don't see where it's coming from. So they suspected there was some compromise of officials down there. So yeah, we went to work, and it didn't take us long to pinpoint this. So when they recovered that data and they recovered the photos, obviously they had some of the top names of who was helping out on the U.S. side to help build the tunnel and also keep it functioning for at least 6 months, judging by the data on the photo.
So I just wanted to ask you, your attachment to, because I'm trying to figure out why you're going to then go back to Fort Huachuca. Is that where you were initially trained?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Was Fort, okay, so you were initially trained on Fort Huachuca. What then ends up happening is they put you, you're not allowed to talk. You just get gagged for, is it 25 years the gag order lasted, while they destroyed every layer of your life, fed your name to the cartels. You've been on the run. You've had to change your name. Your family is now in debt. You've been fighting lawsuits, trying to get the government to, I guess, defend you against the cartel gangs. And clearly they're angry because you stepped on their toes, it looks like. I think that's a fair depiction of what happened here, which we are learning more and more how corrupt and I think the CIA was created to traffic, to be clear. That's my opinion there. But they effectively destroyed your life and gagged you in the process. Is that a fair assessment of what happened next?
A lot of the story that he told is what you can find in articles about that situation. If you just did a Google search and just started digging down rabbit holes, you could find pretty much everything that he said. I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm just saying that there's nothing new that he said. Only thing that's new is now what he's going to say here that he fed to Candace, which seems very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I could probably go into some detail that while we were down there, I got the honor of incinerating all the. It was about a ton of cocaine, and a bunch of guns, bunch of money, and then right afterward we went right back to work. And I ended up getting approached with a friend at Noka, Arizona. Not a friend, but another Border Patrol agent. And if it wasn't for him, I was too stupid. I didn't understand why this person was coming up or why they had personal information on me. I was a young kid. It was the Border Patrol agent that caught what it was about. And yeah, thank God. He knew what to do. Took me back to base, and they thought it was, something I did to give away my identity. So I was on base for, it was the next day that I got brought into a briefing. And by that time, the photos from the Mexican side had made their way to the American side, and they were able to put together how my information got fed to the other side. As far as cartels and stuff like that, it's just plain corruption at this point. It's thick. And yeah, they have followed me. I've had people come through my windows. And it's not like, I know these are, it's like fantastical stories. We got the court documents. We got the court cases.
You've sent them.
It's not just that we have those. It's that the work that was done to even try to bury those afterward. It's pretty substantial. And yeah, I've got 20 years of this, and you'd think, one would think that somebody in the federal government would care, or in any part of our government would care.
So let me make sure I got this right, because I'm really lost. And it just seems very interesting that this gentleman, they went through all of these hoops to ruin his life, giving him a false identity and so on and so forth. Why not just put his head to bed if it was really that big of a deal and y'all were corrupt on this side of the border? Why not just put his head to bed? Why leave him around for him to cause y'all trouble and chaos? That makes no sense. I'm sorry. Candace, I can't believe Candace is this dumb that she's allowing this to go on. The stories don't add up. If these people, no loose ends, for crying out loud, every spy movie, every espionage tale tells you that. Why in the world is this man still around if this was true? Like literally he says, oh, my previous name was John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, but now my name is Mitch. There's no way to find out if he really was John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, because all of his information has been, quote unquote, changed because he's under witness protection. Y'all, this woman can't be this boneheaded.
The more I've gone up the chain to try and, get more of these records, as well as get answers to this saga, it just seems like I step on more and more toes. And eventually, that's what led me to going down to Fort Huachuca, was just to get the original records and find out, you know, why wasn't the FBI updated as to what my status was, and you know, why has this been allowed to, yeah, basically use our own laws against me to attack my life.
I feel
I wanted answers.
when I hear the story, it makes me so angry, because it's just too many people that are serving our country, only to figure out that our country is serving some other, the interests of oligarchs, truly. And I think we're kind of all coming to that moment right now and recognizing that it hasn't been left or right. It has been them, a unique gang of oligarchs and criminals that are running every aspect of our lives, and they would gladly have you die for them, and they couldn't care less. I want to pivot now. So they put you, there's this gag order, or non-disclosure agreement, and it is 25 long years, and it happens
35.
to 35. Pardon me, 35 years. You're told, yeah, you can suffer. The cartels can chase you, change your name, but you keep your mouth shut about it. And finally,
I quit. Y'all, I'm sorry. This is just mentally deflected. Somebody on Twitter has posted to me the actual screenshot of his ID. I'm just going to share it with y'all, and then y'all make your decision based upon whatever you want, based upon information and belief. Here's the ID. Am I supposed to believe? Well, what am I supposed to believe from this? His date of birth is April 31st, and I'm assuming he's supposed to be in the ballpark of 20 years old. That's the picture that they're posting on Twitter. And this is his name, allegedly Harry Myers. But that wouldn't show up because he's under witness protection. There's going to be a lot of problems with this. Okay. Okay. Right. I figured something was wrong with that. I don't know the term, but I figured like that just doesn't look right. I don't know. I can't even mess with this. Like at this point in the game, I don't even feel sorry for Candace. I don't. It's on Twitter. Here, let me. Who sent this to me? Because they added me on it. I'll make sure I drop the link so y'all can look it up as well, and check it out. I'm expecting the military experts that follow this case to be all over this like white on rice.
in May of this year, it expires, right? This gag order expires, and you say to yourself, I am going to go down to that base where I was trained. I'm going to go down to Fort Huachuca, book myself into a hotel. I'm going to go to the criminal division, the investigative division. I'm going to get that original paperwork and get some answers to why I feel that my life has been effectively ruined for me having done what I was ordered to do by the government. So you get to the base, and I want you to address this because there were so many people who were like, there's no way you could have gotten onto the base. Obviously, you sent me your military cards, and I think we can show a picture of that. You get onto the base, and I want you to walk us through what time. I did show a timeline, but about, you don't have to be perfect here. We already showed a timeline. But like you get to the base and just kind of what's your general mood. And this is on September 8th, the evening of September 8th at the Candlewood Inn and Suites, which you have given me all the documentation for.
She really is. She really is dialed in about that hotel. She really wants you to believe that hotel. Let's go.
Yeah, and getting into Tucson, there was a little bit of a issue getting the rental car and stuff, so that took a little while, a little bit of a delay, but we made reservations ahead of time for me to be there. And yeah, I get down to the base. For those that think that people can't get on base, no, typically you can, as long as you have your ID, your insurance, and you have a purpose for being there.
But when your ID showed your old name. Your ID showed your old name though. So why would they let you on with your old alien and not your new alias?
That's
And
why
Skylar,
they
you can
have
show that
hotel.
documentation as he's speaking. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, we made reservations, and I got to the hotel. I had it was sort of hard to find, but once I found it, I sort of recognized it because it was that was actually the barracks that I had when I was there in AIT training, but they converted it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. All of a sudden, I'm staying in the same barracks. Really nice place, by the way. Wonderful beds. But yeah, I check in, and as I'm doing that, you can tell that there's regular military people, young kids that are there, probably just checking in to post, stuff like that. There were a couple people that stood out, and they're a little bit older, and as I'm checking in, one guy that was sitting on the couch, he just had a sheen to him.
Y'all, okay, I quit. This is the best live chat on the planet. I don't know how I missed this, but my birthday's in April. Y'all know that, right? You know your boy's birthday's in April. I don't know how I missed it, but April doesn't have 31 days in it. And his date of birth is April 31st. This is not fake. This is real. Y'all, just quit. Let's quit, y'all. Just quit. Just stop. Just quit. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, this does not look like a 20-year-old. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go with that. This doesn't look like a 20-year-old. And the privileges are secret Ceph meetings and drug tunnels. That's his privilege. They would post that on your ID. Okay. Y'all, I cannot wait to get off this stream, and we might go to Twitter together. Matter of fact, I might just go take y'all to Twitter and we just go through this together. They are going to probably have this dude for lunch. Yo, how do we know the Twitter post isn't fake? How do we know the Twitter post isn't fake? Let's, well, Candace put it on the screen, so I can go back and pull up. I'll take that. I'll eat that if it's not right. Dang it. I'm going to have to back it up where she put it on the screen. Ugh. All right, I'm looking through. I'm trying to scrub through to see when she put it on the screen, so then we can kind of like compare it to this. And I mean, it's very possible the Twitter post could be bogus. That's possible, of course. I don't see it. Dang it. I'll do it without let me pull this back in so we can get back on it. All right, let's get back on it. I will look and make sure we have it. Hold on 1 second.
40, about there, give or take. I wasn't there to check out people or check ID cards. I just happen to know them. And veterans, especially SF guys, when you notice somebody like that, I almost had the impression, so much so that I was going to go up and ask him what group he was with and say hi and thank him for his service. I didn't really get that chance. So as I'm checking in and then I go to my room and then come back out, he was joined and joined by a female that you can definitely tell when, how do you put it, when people are well off and they're dressing down. She was definitely dressing down. And
what does that mean?
It was very well kept. The one thing I noticed about the woman that really stuck out to me was her eyes. And I have an ex that has caused me a lot of problems. So when I see someone with striking blue eyes like that, they stick out. And
my man's traumatized.
I was on the phone with my wife here, and I even told her about it. I said, "Oh, geez, somebody has those kind of eyes." It creeped me out a little bit, and it had nothing to do with that person. Just, life is what it is. But as I was checking in, I was going to go back and actually talk to that person, the guy, and Yeah, between me at the front desk and then going back to my room one time and then coming back out, I was going to go to dinner. Yeah, they had gotten into, there was a vehicle parked out front, big green truck. It looked like a real shiny GSA type. And yeah, they were getting into that vehicle and driving off. And that night I went
What's
to
that got
dinner
to do
at
with
some
anything?
a little bit crazy. The people in Sierra Vista, they can probably verify there was a Mexican sushi place in Sierra Vista. So I got dinner and it was a pretty good place actually. And then I came back
Mexican
and
sushi
went
is
to sleep that
crazy.
night. Got up early the next morning, wanted to see the sunrise, reminisce about, you know, yeah, there we go. Just reminisce about having been there a long time ago. And even stopped to talk to some of the police. They tried to give me directions to CID, but the buildings there are they're sort of old World War II, and they're also built on top of the foundations of like almost Alamo era rocks and stuff, and some of them aren't really well marked. So his direction sort of led me off on a wild goose chase.
And I'll interject here while you're having a sip of water that this is when you accidentally take a video and it's 18 minutes long while this guy's giving you directions, which you've sent everything over. So there's no question you were here and everything happened because you tried to document this thinking you were going to get some justice from the past. And I will let you continue telling the story.
Yeah, I was there to get help. And I was really figuring some people would have have some answers for me. I couldn't find CID, but as I'm wandering around, and I finally decided, I need to get some coffee and wake up, maybe have a little breakfast. I noticed that there's some signs there that say JTF and JTF headquarters. I went in a couple of the buildings. There was nobody there yet, so I continued on. I went and got coffee. Ran into some 10th Mountain people there. They said they were there for JTF. We sort of talked. I bought them coffee, I think, for their service.
So real quick, I think that Twitter link may very well not be on the up and up. So I found where they showed the picture on the screen. And of course, all this is covered up, of course. So it doesn't say his birthday. It doesn't say tunnels and all that kind of foolishness and it's such like that. So I don't think that that was on the up and up. But yeah, I don't see anything on it like that. That Twitter picture probably was fake. I'll probably take that. But I don't know how I would verify any of this stuff on here, though. And I'm not saying the gentleman was not in the military. So the VA might be right. It could be right. It just seems wild, though. Anyway, just want to let you know I did find that. So I'm going to probably go with, it's probably not right. It might be phony. Okay, let's go.
I asked where there would be a headquarters that I could go to speak to someone. They tried to explain it to me. I forget, they gave me a building name, and I don't necessarily we don't want to disclose that kind of stuff, but I went right back to the front gate, and as I came in, as they scanned me in with my ID card, I asked the gate guard there,
there it is.
where would this building be?
Okay, so there it is.
How would I get there?
Let me catch that again. Let me screenshot that. Make sure I got a copy of it. Okay. But what is the name on the ID? It still says status and grade. Okay. Anyway. All right, let's go.
He gave me detailed instructions on how to get there, how to wind around to get to that building. So I did. And it was obviously a temporary setup for this new command down there. There was no gate guard. There was, I think they did have some barbed wire around the field and the building. which made me hesitate for a second, but it was a parking lot. So I just went in and parked. I was on the phone with my missus here and told her, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what they say here, and I'll call you in a few. I ended up not being able to call it back for about 7 hours. And you can, being in the military for a while, you notice when there's a lot of high-ranking people around, and you notice when there's a little bit of a buzz. And I walked in there. I didn't know if this was just a new type of army that I haven't seen for a while. But I walked up to the front desk. I sort of told him what I wanted. I initially talked to one captain for about 5 minutes, and then he stepped back out. He was going to go get someone. I stood there at the front, and as I did, the guy that I thought was an XSF guy, he had walked out from wherever it was, and he was sort of walking out to the front doors, and he stood there for a while waiting. And then
Hey, can I ask a question to all my military people? What is a staff sergeant? Like what is a staff sergeant? I'm gonna drop the question. What is a staff sergeant? Is that pretty low on the food chain or what? It's a rank, it's an E6. Is it possible that this guy could have been a staff sergeant? Let me ask you that question. Could he be a staff sergeant? Enlisted. E6 is a staff sergeant. Okay. All right, because I think I found him online. He's a member of a particular Army group, which it just seems interesting. And he says he's a staff sergeant, but he doesn't say anything about any of the other things that we've been talking about. I'll drop the link to this in the chat as well. I'm just curious. I'm gonna keep reading, but I just want to make sure. So he could be a staff sergeant in the Army, is what y'all saying? Okay. I was gonna double check before I. No, it's pretty mid-high enlisted. Yeah, I'm just. I got it. I already got the link already here. I'll just show you real quick what I'm reading. Okay, so I found this guy. He's a retired staff sergeant, Mitch Snow. Does that look like him? Does that look like Candace's guy? Well, Mitch Snow served in the U.S. Army Special Forces as a medic. As a small child, his life dream was to become a Green Beret. While scouting out a drop zone using his rock climbing training and fell more than 80 feet, he broke both of his ankles, back, neck, kneecaps, feet, and dislocated his shoulder. Medically discharged and devastated to leave the job that he loved, Mitch continues to work hard to regain mobility through intense therapy. And this is through the Dive Pirates Foundation. Now, doesn't mean that this is true by any means or measure, but this story sounds, is this a concocted story that was made up because he's under witness protection? Like, I don't understand. But I'm going to wonder if Candace did any research to find this out, that is possible. Because this does look like him. I think that looks like him. For sure. So I'm wondering. I don't want to say it. Look, because I that's what got me started on YouTube, actually, was watching Stolen Valor videos. That's actually what got me started on YouTube. I respect them, the men and women that do that. 20 is young for a staff sergeant. That's what I'm saying. Here, I'm gonna let this finish, but we sleuthing out
Three
here.
more people came around, civilian dressed, and one, he looked like a congressman. Had the pin, had the flag, congressman suit, and there were a couple of people next to him, and obviously they were trying to talk to him, and they were sort of palling around, but it was also sort of serious. And some of the military lieutenant colonels there and the unit sergeant major escorted them out. They got into one of the GSA's for anybody in the military that knows about GSA, they own everything in the government.
Could you,
So
sorry,
when
for
military
those of us who
people,
don't know about this GSA, just to break it down for us, I'm sorry to be so ignorant. What does that stand for?
no, what was it? Government Services Administration, or
Okay.
I forget what it is.
No worries.
What they basically maintain all the property for the U.S. for the federal government.
Okay.
So if you're in the military or if you're in the federal government and you need a vehicle, basically you go to one of the GSA places, and it's like renting a vehicle at Enterprise or something, but you have orders attached to it. Some of those vehicles they're reserved at any GSA where they have VIPs that come in. For those in the know, they keep a reserve set of vehicles, and they're extra shiny. They're like new off the lot. Their tires aren't worn very well. So they all got into one of those vehicles and they left. The sergeant major came back in. Him and I was teasing him about his tabs and how he didn't have his long tab, and I think he had a Ranger tab and airborne. Or no, he didn't have airborne. He had air assault. Anyway, I was teasing him about some of that. Was supposed to go back and talk to him. I was finishing signing in when, a couple.
He really likes to buddy and chum it up with people that he has a problem with because they kicked him out of the military, allegedly, or are like trying to destroy his life, allegedly. He just, y'all, this is wild. Okay.
More captains came around the corners and they escorted me way out. They wanted to take me out of the building. I thought I was getting arrested, and I didn't know what I had done wrong. I'd given my name, the missions I had been attached to. I gave them the purpose why I was there. And I was very polite about it. I was trying to be discreet as possible. And I had no idea what I was walking into. Obviously, when congressmen are around, there's something special going on. But yeah, they escorted me out across the parking lot to the park benches there, and one of the captains there, his name was Captain Neff. Nice guy. And I started telling him my story, what I'm telling you, and what I was there for. Yes, that's the guy. Real decent gentleman. And as we sat there, the other captain went in, was going to get the sergeant major, and I don't know exactly what happened, but before long, there was a bunch of cruisers pulling up. There were police officers from different levels of the government. I couldn't tell you all the different types of law enforcement that were there surrounding me, and sort of putting up a wall between me and the front door. I did catch that there was yet another, I don't know if it was the same GSA vehicle returning or a different one, but that did pull up to the building. I couldn't see who got in it. And it ended up sort of a big deal. They kept interrogating me, trying to gaslight me, ask me what I was there for, like I was some sort of a spy. And then they mentioned a bomb threat. They wanted to check my vehicle. Mentioned that because I was in special forces, obviously I must be some sort of a bomb threat. And for me, I just figured this had to be some sort of the false flagging that I've encountered from before. Some sort of residual effect from that.
So you're just thinking, this has got something to do. This has been 35 years running. The government's corrupt. It's all about me finding this cartel tunnel, and this is just going to be the story of my life, never getting any justice. That's what's going through your mind.
At this point, yeah, people in the government start pointing guns at me. My house has been squatted and stuff like that. I just roll my eyes. I literally.
Sorry.
I was just throwing my car keys. They wanted my car keys. I chucked it over. I said, yeah, if you don't mind, park it closer because my bones are getting old and it hurts. I don't want to walk that far.
So sad.
So Captain Neff was really nice. And I asked him what this was about. And he tried to shrug it off and say he didn't know. There was another lady that seemed to be conducting what this overreaction was. And she was definitely, she was in plain clothes, undercover, big sunglasses, Hispanic woman. Right, if I had to guess, probably Secret Service or something like that. She didn't want to approach me directly. She was directing how other people would approach me and ask me questions, get my documents, stuff like that. Eventually they said, okay, we're going to take you to another location. They took me to, they finally showed me where the CID building was, I guess. Put me in there and they recorded me for a while. Asked me a few questions and they were very concerned about the next 24 hours. Like they wanted to make sure, I don't know, maybe that I wasn't there for some other purpose or related to something. It was pretty odd. They didn't answer any of the questions I was there for. They didn't give me the documentation they wanted. They did give me a report number to go ahead and you went ahead and I gave that to you.
You did.
We'll see what that says. But yeah, they were looking for any excuse to try and hold me up for like 24 hours. And that 24-hour number kept getting repeated by them. And then eventually they didn't have anything to hold me on. I wasn't a harm to myself or others.
What does this got to do with anything?
Spy on anybody. I really just wanted to get records and get out of that desert. As reminiscent as it was, the place creeps me out a little bit. So, yeah, once they said you have to stay off base for 24 hours, don't worry about it, I ain't coming back. Got to Tucson, stayed the night there in a hotel. Never got a refund on my Candlewood Suites. But yeah, got on the plane and before we touched down, I had a stop off in Salt Lake City. By the time we wheeled down, we got the news about Charlie Kirk.
Y'all do realize that he did not say that he saw Brian Harpole, right? Or maybe I missed it because my ears might have went to sleep. But I don't think he ever mentioned that he saw Brian Harpole. Call me crazy.
And of course, that's been just all over the news. Everybody's watching it, and I don't think anybody's believing what the federal government's saying about it for sure. But what I noticed, I don't know these people from TPUSA. Never been associated. I could recognize Charlie Kirk probably. But what I started seeing come across got more familiar once I saw a picture of somebody in a ponytail with those eyes. That was that person. They were there. And yeah, the head of security there, he was one of the people walking out with the congressman. Now, how would I know that? I just have a gift for recognizing people. And yeah, maybe it's not him. Maybe he has doppelganger, but
who is the
somebody
person?
with the same mannerisms, the same crick in his neck, face, the waxy look on his face, hand gestures, shoulder shrug, gait, approximate height, haircut, definitely walked past me. And
if
in
you
the
had
hotel,
to put it at a percentage that you were looking at Brian Harpole, maybe he's got a brother in the military, who knows, right? Maybe he does have a doppelganger, he's got a twin brother, who knows? And I want to be clear, I can confirm on this podcast live every step of your story in terms of where you went, what time you were there, that there was this big meeting that happened. I confirmed the location with other people that are on.
How did you confirm it? Candace, we need to know how you confirmed it. How did you confirm it? Yeah, like a big, like, hold on. Who's this person with the ponytail? Oh, who is that? Brian Harper don't have a ponytail? What am I not getting? Am I missing something? This is ridiculous.
Can confirm everything with metadata. I obviously can't confirm that you saw who you say you saw. If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put it at?
95.
95%. Okay.
95 to 99. I mean, when I saw him, on the interview with his face and gestures, with that photo, it struck me in my gut. I blew it off until there was, some other pictures that came up with other people.
What other people? Other pictures?
If you want me to say, there's a picture of Erica Kirk with a ponytail, and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before, and she was with that man in the lobby, and that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erica Kirk, what percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes.
Oh, that's where the eyes come in. Okay.
That's 95 to 99%. I can't imagine somebody else.
Okay. So what I'm going to say, because obviously that's very explosive, and it's one of the reasons why I wasn't sure if I wanted to have you on. I'm going to be honest with you. That is
crazy work.
I guess I'll tell you the conflict that I had and just be just as honest with you as you are being with me. The first thing was, I can't confirm it, right? I can confirm where you were. I can do all of that. But I can't confirm what you think you saw. I don't know you. I don't know. There are people like my husband who we can see someone once and he recognizes that person 10 years later exactly where we saw them. And there are people like me, and I kind of have facial blindness until I meet someone 3 times. The second thing was, I didn't want people to wrongly extrapolate things and say, okay, well, maybe she was on the base. Maybe there's a chance she wasn't on the base, right? That she has a doppelganger. People do have doppelgangers. I have doppelgangers, right? Wow. But let's say she was in the base. Let's say you're right. And you saw her. This is the night before. This is on the 8th. Maybe she was in the hotel, but maybe she was there for a different reason. Maybe she was there because she's always been open about the fact that her mother moved to Arizona because she got involved with the military. So that could be totally unrelated to the meeting that took place on the 9th. And I didn't want to, but then I said to myself, this man has lived through so much. You know what I mean? This man has lived through so much. And I would be turning my back on this, really a hero for discovering the cartels who's lived through so much and has been treated like the government. And then I struggled with my own soul going, I'm turning my back on him because I'm afraid of backlash for allowing him to tell the truth. And my soul was in conflict. And
your soul was in conflict.
You know what? This is not my platform. Okay. I genuinely believe this is God's platform.
Wow.
I'm a conduit. I don't know why I have a platform. And I don't know why you have this luck in life. I really don't. I don't know why these things happen to you or why they happen to me. But I know that my prayer was very intentional that night, that I received that email. So I'm going to allow the internet to hear your testimony, hear what you think. And I also want to show them a picture, because we did look through some congressmen, and I didn't tell you where they were congressmen from, but there is one that you thought looked familiar. And I am going to show that picture of him now. This is, and Skylar, someone's got to get in my ear because I'm blanking on his name. Mark Amodi. Is that right? Mark Amodi from Las Vegas. And you thought that this could potentially be the congressman that you saw on the 9th?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the one that walked closest to me.
That's the one that walked closest to you.
That's 95. I'm absolutely, after I've looked at it, that was definitely the guy.
Okay. Now we have then been able to look at flights and look at who could have been at that meeting. We were able to confirm based on a call sign that there was somebody heavy duty that was at Fort Huachuca pardon, on that morning.
Okay, y'all, we got to stop. This is gross, man. What she's doing, yeah, man. I just want to point out something that somebody sent me already. PTSD help for veterans in Benton and Franklin counties. And this is from Nonstop Local, Tri-Cities, Yakima. I think that's Arizona, right? Yakima, Washington. Please forgive me. So that's where allegedly this gentleman's from. So just something I just want to read to you very quickly, just a couple quick sentences in here. In Kennewick, Washington, between Benton and Franklin counties, we have more than 19,000 in our community. About 30% of them have one form or another of post-traumatic stress disorder. Many of these vets undergo multiple tours. We're talking 3 to 4, up to 5, even up to 7 tours, where the war has become part of their life and has very much impacted their relationship, work, and all domains of their life, says Velaz. He said that 30% with problems, there's a hope for many. About 60% will get better, and another 30% usually stay stuck, says Velaz, of his clients. Okay, well, what are we reading, Jason? What is this about? Staff Sergeant Mitch Snow has been out of the military since 1996. But years later, he gets help for post-traumatic stress disorder in Valdez and Associates. I'm really thinking that this guy is not legitimate. I'm going to drop the link to this in here because I know we want to finish up this interview. I'm dropping the link in the chat. Y'all will keep looking it up. I'm sure Twitter is going to go ballistic about this. But yeah, this is some high grade grossness that we're watching, and I just want to show you all that. Let's go.
Morning, who made sure to turn off their transponder. So the clues. The picture is coming together. That you saw what you saw, then that call sign did change at a certain time, which lets us know that then it could have been moved to a congressman. There could be a chance that that person they were blocking you from seeing when they all lined up might have been someone that is, it could be Kash Patel. I mean, it could be Kash Patel. That's someone who could have a call sign. We've been running ideas. It could also not be him. And I want to be clear. I do think you saw, I think that is the reason they surrounded you, was to make sure you couldn't see who was walking out. I think your instincts are right on that. And I don't know what to say other than I know what you are going to go through now. And I want you to know that you have an ally with me, and I know how much you are already going through fighting them. And I intend to help you raise money to go through these lawsuits with the federal government. I know this is not easy. I know what your kid has been through. I know what your wife has been through. And no one should have to go through this because they told the truth and potentially stumbled upon something corrupt, did definitively stumble upon something corrupt. And I think the public will be with you because they see what I'm going through right now, being sued by a transatlantic president overseas for just trying to tell the truth. And I just want you to know that, I know that this is hard for you and given everything you've been through, but I am here with you. I'm going to fundraise money for you, and I'm here for you and your family through whatever comes next.
Oh boy, that's really wonderful. And I've told you, thank you. I'd like to see justice. I'd like to see our government being honest again, or some level. I don't know why I was there or why I got to see what I did or how I happened to walk in on something. I wasn't there to, obviously I didn't know what was going to happen in the next 24 hours. It seems coincidental that was the number they kept bringing up, and whatever they were doing, it was important, and they didn't want anybody looking at it. And okay, the military does that stuff. That's what they do. I thank you, for everything. But really, after hearing some of the other stuff, hearing about some of the threats against you, and I watch some of the other podcasters, Valhalla, really good guy, even if he gave me a bunch of crap about stuff. Fellow brother there from First Group. No, he had.
So wait, he
When
let
he
himself.
interviewed the French Foreign Legion, he got to learn a little bit about sometimes how in the intelligence world how things cross over.
So he introduced himself to Valhalla. So he didn't just out himself with this story, y'all. This story is crazy. This is a great question. What does this have to do with anything? But even more than that, like she's literally putting a target again on Turning Point, on people that are innocent, instead of, yeah, man, I hate that she's got me cheering so hard for the Macrons. Like, I might send some money to Macrons just to help bolster their case. Look, here's $1.95, man. This is what I got in my pocket, just to see y'all beat her. Like, this is crazy. This is so gross to see her. And she knows that she's pigeonholed. So she keeps creating new scenarios when she's down bad. This is gross, man. Yo, man, shout out to the best live chat. Let's go.
And other countries are a little bit dirtier, and they borrow resources from us. Fort Huachuca is one of those places they would have to have done that. And when I had to pray myself and beyond. I just wanted to give you a tip, since you're pulling on these threads, and I had no idea that you were going to do all this.
I want you to know that there were literally 51,000 emails unanswered.
That's not true.
In that box. Okay. And I went to church and I prayed and I said, "Give me something." And it was the first email, just like I said to you.
So
what did I call 4 minutes after the email was sent? And it was actually me. I didn't send it to like my producer. I was just like, "Hey, maybe this is it." And I can't help but to see God in that, and not, God as in people being trained in intelligence to make us think that everything is holy, but rather truly I saw God in that. And it just
okay. I'm just going to point out something again. And I know I have a lot of people who watch this channel, and I'm just going to let you know, I'm very upset. A lot of people watch this channel that are not Christians, and that's perfectly fine. I want to create an environment where we all can enjoy watching this together, and you can see how Christians behave. Candace is not a Christian. That's going to be it. I don't care what you say. Catch me outside. But notice, God is only used as a prop to her. This is a God thing. God this, God. Only when she can prop him up and use him as a prop. When she says God in reference to Protestantism, when she says God in reference to the church, she spits it out like it's venom. She spits it out like it's acid. This woman is vile. My name is Jason.
It's stunning. It's hard not to see God in something like that happening.
God is not in this, chick.
I don't know what comes next, but I just want you to know that, like, you have an ally in me, and I hope you see that I am a fighter. And when I see good people and bad things happen to them, I will fight. And same for the people that watch this podcast. They are fighters as well. So, and they've had my back, and they will have your back. I promise you that.
I really appreciate
She gonna leave you high and dry, my dude.
There are a lot of people in the military who, we see things. I'm sure there's people down at Fort Huachuca and other places that have seen things, and there's a lot of people that stay quiet, to stay nice, to not be in conflict. And I had to pray. This doesn't help. This doesn't help my situation at all. It's going to aggravate it, I'm absolutely sure. And but the truth matters, and that's why we wanted to send this up to you. We had no idea. All of a sudden, you'd be calling us. You really interrupted our gym time, by the way, and we really need it. typically I try to laugh things off quite a bit, but things are getting quite serious. And I think Baron Coleman, he gets it. Keep pulling those threads, and I hope you stay safe.
And same to you. And like I said, I'm going to put together a fundraiser for you, imminently. So, and this is obviously it's just the first conversation we're having. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, not just for sharing what happened. And I do believe you are a missing piece of this. I also want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for trying to do what our government should be doing, which is stopping the cartels and not partnering with them. And so just thank you for your military service and all that you've gone through.
Thank you, Miss Owens. Thank you, Candace.
Thank you.
We will be.
Amy says thank you also.
Thank you, guys. We will be right back, you guys. I'm going to let Mitch sign off here, and then I will answer some of your questions after some sponsors.
Y'all, this
Good
is
news,
some,
you guys. The Fed
this is some
dropped
grade A grossness right here, y'all. The fact that whether or not the man has stolen valor, whether or not the man is true or not, is beside the point. The fact that she would literally put that out there, that Erica was at Fort Huachuca with Brian Harpole with no evidence whatsoever. You show us 2 blurry ID badges and you just run with it. Yo, man, the amount of literally, I want to help the Macrons win their lawsuit. I do, because I want her. I mean, this is ridiculous what we're watching. That's insane. For everybody that was asking, I did send that article, those 2 articles, to Gary at Paramount Tactical. It looks like they're going to be going on pretty soon, so we might just jump over there right after this is over with. Y'all, I'm so done with this. I am completely done. Like I don't even understand. Like, this woman has absolutely no barometer of decency whatsoever. Culture Redneck said this: Candace speaks about the faith being infiltrated when Catholicism was infiltrated by the globalists and the Marxists in the 60s. The Second Vatican Council of 1965 states Jews, Muslims, and Christians worship the same God. Heretics. Shout out, man. Thank you so much for the very kind and very gracious $20 super. Y'all, I'm trying to, man, she ruining my whole Thankful Thursday, man. Good gracious, man. Thank you, Irene, with the 10. She made all these bold claims about the parents of Tyler Robinson, etc. Instead of following up with the proof and evidence, she switched to Christianity. We see you, Candace. We see you, Candace. Curtis is the stream sponsor. Always blessing. Thank you so very much, man. It means a lot that y'all rock with me. And I thank you, Curtis, for being man. You've sponsored the whole stream, man. The whole series for sure. She's lying. Intelligence doesn't allow cell phone use on base. And most usually have cell phone block or jammers to block signals. Thank you so much, man. Like the fact that, again, whether that man is true or false, I'm not going to argue that. But the fact that she did not do, she didn't do that research. She don't know whether or not this man is selling her a bill of goods or not. But she will bring him on to say that kind of stuff. That's some nasty work. Okay, $5 more for the Walmart evidence pack and keeping Godzilla out of this drama. Thank you so much, Stacy, for the 5. I appreciate you, friend. What do we have here? Thank you, CL New Life, for the $2. No question, no comment. Just pure love of the game. Thank you very much. She's going to ask Justin Peters to come on because he's been calling out the false teachers in TP Faith. He'll call her out too, though. Justin Peters is coming on Candace or on Allie Beth? That was a good one. I don't know. Thank you for the 5, gracefully rooted. Wow. Sage says this: she's doing this brave interview today to keep the attention on her while AmFest is happening and also to cause further division within AmFest. That's an excellent point. Thank you so much. The first day of AmFest, she has this, and she says Erica Kurt was involved with it. Yep. I see what you did there. Thank you so much. Kathleen with the 2. She said Tyler is involved, but no deep dive, right? Thank you so much. Charlie was growing stronger in his faith because of Erica. Candace hates that. You are right on the money, Heather. With the 5, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Sammy says this with the 5. If you are born again, you can't believe that our lives are the Truman Show. I mean, that is saying that God isn't in control of anything. She's Satan's tool. I think somehow or another, she picked up on that. I don't know how she got on that Truman Show arc, and she just won't let it go. Because I think if you press on that a little bit more, just like you did, Sammy, you see like that doesn't make sense. That's stupid. Words mean things with the $2. Again, no question, no comment. Just love of the game. Thank you so much for supporting. I appreciate you very much. I hope Mitch knows a lot of military podcasts are going to want to interview him now and he put himself out there. Hope he's ready for it. Yeah, there's going to be some better questions too, because Candace doesn't know the right questions. I don't know the right questions. So Cindy, thank you so much for the 5 for sure. Texas Mom says this, isn't it a military thing where you can't speak out like this on operations? That's what I thought, but I don't know. Maybe he's part of the NDA. I don't know. Thank you for the 5. Mitch is sus. Seems more like a stalker. I agree with you. Thank you for the 2. He definitely seems like somebody that has concocted the story. Does everyone else see Candace's name in the bottom? Retweet. Well, let me see. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Vanessa. But thank you for the 2. Our Lila Rose says this with the $13.99 Canadian. This guy does not look like he's ex-military or police. The man looks off. Does not look like someone on the run with either. Yeah, I found several little pieces of nuggets about his life. I'm not convinced either. I am not convinced. Well, I mean, I'm sorry. He was discharged from the military in 96. That means, in my opinion, he was about 22 years old. That's what I was 22 years old in 96. So it just seems odd to me. This guy's screen, message 2. I'm not certain what I'm missing. All right. Celeste Moy with the 5. Someone needs to look for a movie or 2 show with this plot. You know what? Now that is actually kind of funny. I do think some of this sounds like a movie plot. That is you're right on the money. I like that. From my experience, his age and ex-military appearance check out, but the way he's telling the story is weird. Okay, and I could be wrong. He just doesn't look like what I would think to be a plus 50-year-old man. I would say probably 45, maybe 40. I would say 40 to 45, but that's just me. But he doesn't look like a 50-year-old man, in my opinion. Thank you so much. Dizzy says this with the 5. She's asking leading questions and hand feeding this guy holes in his story, and he's also boring. Yeah, I'm like, it's very interesting that this story went like this, but I'm ready to hear. I know Gary's going to talk about it in a few. Mike, would you say, when did the spawn of Satan get her training in infiltration of the Judeo-Christian churches? I don't know. Thank you so much for the 5, my friend. And what does Arena say this with the 5? There is no April 31st in the same day of April. And this, I'm sorry. I'm the last day of April and it's the 30th. Yeah, I believe that picture I showed was fake. And I actually, I'll probably trim that out or whatever like that. I think that was a phony. E4 is a specialist, not a lieutenant colonel. Thank you so much, Obi-Wan Dahomey. I like that name. With the 2, I like that. Obi-Wan Dahomey. April doesn't have 31 days. Sorry for all the caps. That's okay. We got you. Thank you so much for the 2. And eating my hat after that ID. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, I like this hat though. I'm going to find another one to eat, but I'll eat my hat later. Off screen. How do you eat a hat anyway? Candace Owens' video isn't live either unless she glitches. That's a great point. I've said this before. Her videos are not, those are not live streams. These are videos. Thank you so much for that too, for sure, Brandy. And I'll get right here. Her husband's letting her go off the rails so he can claim she's mentally ill and protect his own money from the Macrons. I've never felt like somebody was tracking my phone or peeping in on my conversations, but I am goals with the $5. I have said this. I said I think that's what George is doing. And I think I might have said on the stream, but I believe this is what George is doing. He's allowing her to go crazy so he can do that. Wow. You said it much better than me, by the way. All right. That stupid badge says date of birth, April 31st. April only has 30 days. Yep. I walked into the buzzsaw. Thank you so much. I did. And we're in right here with Curtis right here. Even Candace's face says, holy blank, this dude's crazier than me. She does look like, what did I get into? She does look like that. Let's bring this back in. We're going to finish this up, and then we're going to get over here to Paramount Tactical. Let's go.
Part of the show where I push things that I am selling on the website. But what I'm going to say to you instead is that I will get together a give, send, go for Mitch and his family. Like I said, I've seen the legal paperwork. They've endured hell. They've endured hell. And he's been enduring that hell because he did his job.
Is it odd to you? Candace is forever talking about, Candace really wants you to believe that she is just like the great unwashed, the hoi polloi, that she's just like everybody else. I'm just like you. I'm struggling, to make ends meet, blah, 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 as if she's not an elitist, as if she's not rich, upper class, whatever you want to say. It's always interesting. Like, she wanted people yesterday to fund her security. Now she's talking about she wants people to fund her give, send, go for Mitch. And I'm not saying that that's not valid, but it just seems weird. Ma'am, you can stroke a check for a lot of this. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you positioning yourself as if you need to do a fundraiser? Why don't you just take care of it? It seems odd.
It sickens me. Our government sickens me. People telling me that I need to worry about midterms when there's just so much corruption that is happening, and good men that are being persecuted while bad men are being protected. So I wanted to just basically say that if you look on my socials, I'll make sure that I get a fundraiser out for Mitch and his family, and hopefully we can help them with some of the legal costs that they have endured. Curbster writes, we stand behind you, Mitch, and your family just as much as we stand behind you, Mitch, and your family just as much as we stand behind Candace. Thank you for your service and continued bravery and resolve despite our government not doing the same for you. May God continue to protect you and use you to reveal the truth. I'm sure that's going to make them cry. I know that they were in tears from all of the messages of support that they got the first time around when I just shared their story. Madeline writes, thank you, Candace, for keeping me sane these last 100 or so days. I still cannot believe that Charlie is not among us, but thank you for trying to find who really did this to him and for helping us all get through it. Like I said, this feels like there's nothing more important than getting to the bottom of this because the implications are so far reaching. And for me, it is, I don't care about politics anymore. I just don't care. And I do believe that our government was involved in this. Our government is involved in the cover up, and the people that would have to okay that would be the very people that Charlie fought for. He fought for them to get into office. Sleepless nights fighting for those people to be in office.
But again, why would they allow? Again, let's just pretend that everything that Candace says is true. Why would the government want to delete the person that got them? So what she's saying is the Trump administration. Let's just tell the truth. Why would the Trump administration delete Charlie, who helped them get into office, and leave you, who's trying to derail it? Like, that doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm missing it. If there's some kind of, abacus and girl math or boy math that I need, crazy people math, let me know. Why is it like that? Doesn't make sense. Finish this up, Jason. We're almost done.
So, like I said over and over again, I don't care about your midterms. I just don't care about your midterms. I want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, and I want to know why. I want to know why he had to die. Martin Box writes, thank you for being my compass throughout the last few months and helping me to gauge right from wrong. Christ is king. Indeed, Christ is king. Bitsy Figurino writes, I recognize the psychological religious operation going on since Trump was elected. It's been wild to watch. Christ called us to be peacemakers. I would like to help with preborn. I'm in Arizona, and I'm also an ultrasound tech. They will know us by our love. Please reach out to preborn. They do fantastic work, and you are right to recognize that. They were also gaslighting us about that, and I was saying, like, there are so many of these people that have very high up military connections who have these platforms, and all they do is they focus on the Bible. And I'm telling you, there's something wrong. There's just something that is wrong. And you can kind of see the mask slip now because these people purport to.
When you hear somebody say that you focus too much on the Bible, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. That's got to be. Candace, we've never even heard you even attempt to exegete a passage of scripture. Wow. I'm done with this, y'all. I'm finished.
Care about what happened to Charlie, and the easiest thing is to demand truth, and instead they're protecting people like Josh Hammer. It's just like such an obviously bad person. He lied, and they'll go out of their way to protect those individuals. That's a psychological operation. That's not the truth. And it's actually, in many ways, the most sadistic of all psychological operations, because what they're doing is they are asserting themselves as we are the most literate in scripture, so we can tell you whether or not your soul is going to be condemned if you listen to this person or you don't listen to this person.
What are you talking about?
It makes me sick. Like I said, I hold the most contempt for those that hold up the Bible as they criticize people, knowing fully well that they could care less about what's in the Bible, and they just want to take swipes and attack somebody and feel justified in doing it. It's so arrogant. And I think it's also tremendously evil, because there are people that follow you and they are true Christians.
I would love, again, I'm going to put out the ask. If somebody can find somebody making a biblical Christian argument for Candace Owens. I already know all the ones that speak against Candace. I got you. I want somebody to speak from the scriptures in support thereof. That's what I want to see.
Namari Valamar writes, those who have been watching every single episode would not abandon ship. Do not lose hope, but place your trust in Christ alone. The Holy Spirit will bring discernment. That is true. And I think that's what this has been a story of. We all have spiritual discernment, right? We are feeling things on a spiritual level, and we are having people that think they can replace our spirit with garbage and just like, well, enough of us will say this and then it will be true. We'll just keep saying Tyler Robinson. We'll just keep saying the evidence is overwhelming, and we'll somehow hijack the spirit. And this time we're saying no. Ivan writes, the more haters, the more we know that you are on track. Go, Max, Candace. Again, guys, I'm going to jump off because we are over time here, but you will be hearing more from me on my socials. I will put up a give, send, go.
Lord knows you're going to be on social.
His family. We will obviously be giving in a big capacity, and I hope that you guys will join me in doing that. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Dang it, I don't want you to be on tomorrow, Candace. I want to take a break from you. God, in the morning. That was, y'all, that is some wild stuff right there. What's with the date? Shout out to Vanessa. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. Thank you so much for the 2. There was a problem with that badge that I showed. It was not correct at all. Thank you. It's Nicole with the 2. He's being coached. He says right. Yes. So randomly correct. Striking blue eye woman. Is he insinuating Erica Kurt? That's what he said. Man, that is some gross work right there. Lila Rose with the $13.99 Canadian. I mean, can you imagine what she's insinuating? But she allowed that guy to say it, mind you. Now, that's the other thing. Candace is going to say, well, I never said it. The guy said it. Mitch said it. The guy speaking, the guy in the ID looked the same, to be the same age. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that guy looked that old. So, I found a couple other conflicting articles. Maybe I'll just put them all like in my Substack or something like that. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Shout out for sure. Thank you so much. Iris with the 2 says this. His real name is retired Sergeant Mitch Snow. Yeah, we definitely found that. So gross. It's just gross that you're doing this, Candace. Obi-Wan homie, Army Staff Sergeant here, is E6 in the Army. So, and I think that's interesting. He never mentions what branch of military he was in. He just says the military, which seems odd. And maybe I missed it if he said Army, okay, but I never heard him mention that. So shout out. Thank you so much, Obi-Wan homie. I love that name. Maybe Candace paid him for this story, $2. Thank you so much, Stacy. I don't disagree. I think it's very possible, extremely possible. What's Alex say over here with the 1790? Hi, Candace. I was exposed to radiation during the Gulf War. Ever since then, I've believed that the Mexican cartel was chasing me. Can I come on your show? No, you got to come up with some kind of, it's got to tie to Egyptian planes and Charlie Kirk. You got to get that in there, Alex. You got to step that game up. You cannot. No, she won't let you on just for anything. I love it. Jody says this with the 10. I just got here and seen the ID, but there is only 30 days in April. Look at the date on it. Yep, you're right. I saw that after I said it. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if Candace is exploiting a disabled veteran who may have more than just a physical disability. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, who was the person that sent her the email to look for this guy? Like, what was that about? That, right there alone. And the ID shows a month is the year. Seriously? Help me, Jocelyn. But no year. Right. No year. Gary, AKA Paramount Tactical, is going to destroy this guy. And I'm ready for it. I think he said 5 o'clock. Let me double check. Because I might just jump. I definitely want us to jump over to Paramount Tactical. I'm not going to live stream him. Great brother, been very supportive of the channel. What did I do with it? I had it open a minute ago. I don't know what happened. But I want y'all to go over there and check out what he's doing. Dangerous Liberty is the name of his podcast. He's going hot. Well, actually, he's hot right now. Here, let's get done. He's hot now. Let's get out of here. Gary. So she uses someone else to slander her. That's exactly what she did. Thank you so much, Amethyst, with the 2. And what do we say here? Miss Manners with the 10. My father, husband, and 2 brothers are in-laws, as well as multiple friends are retired from the military, are veterans. This man is a fraud. I know that I know. I love it, Miss Manners. Thank you for the 10. Shout out to your family for their support. He probably saw Elvis in the parking lot of 7-Eleven. Alex, thank you so much. All right. So embarrassed. I used to like her. I know. Everybody grows. Thank you so much for the 2. Hang on. The plot of The Enemy of the State. Yeah, we might need to look at Enemy of the State. I might have to go back and look at that. Shout out again, Phantom. Been a member for 3 months. Dude, lying. He is no SF. He was 20 and went on the run. He claimed 10th Mountain, they're not SF. I don't think they are even SO. Sergeant Major is E9, not an O. See, I don't even know all that stuff. You got Phantom mad though. Phantom is over typing all that stuff in the chat like that. Okay, brother, one last second. One less 0-second timeout for you. I hope you've broken your resistance down. Then debunk my last super seconds after it dropped. Stop it. Thank you, Mike, for the 5, man. Thank you, brother, so much. All right, we got Phantom again. This guy is a $3 bill. Well, I thank you for the 2. All right. Sylvia says this with the 10. Late to the chat. Back to the old days of brown card was in the military family. Remember, a blue card for retired military and a green card was an active duty. Now active duty have smart cards. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'm chomping at the bit to hear what Gary has to say about this. So we will be jumping over there in a minute. Jason, you need to find the clip from Billy Madsen when the guy says we are all dumber. Oh, I have that after listening. Jesus, please take the wheel. Thanks, bro. I actually have that clip. I just don't have it queued up in here yet. Shout out to Rogue. Thank you so much for the $50 super. No question, no comment, just loving the game. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you, Rugger Rogue. All right. Someone might have already said that, but that card colors late. The card colors late to chat. Sorry. No problem. We figured the card was probably fake. Erica viewed Charlie purely as a business proposition. She said they talked for an hour that night of the email, but just said it obviously their first conversation. She just said it was obviously their first conversation. I think you're right on the money there. This makes me sick. Neither CIA nor DCS target U.S. persons, nor does CIA ship drugs into U.S. I literally curse my own brother out about that. Thank you so much for both of y'all. Candace protected herself by bringing on a man that claimed he saw Erica. Now she is only reporting and shielding herself from the defamation. I see what you did, Ninja. Thank you for the 5. Oh, but she gonna catch it though still. Man, that's so grimy. So does prayer result in getting scammed now? MT with the 2. Unless God wanted to expose her true evil. There we go. Thank you, Amethyst. Thank you, MT. The blacklist, not Truman. I like it, Amethyst. Thank you, love. Shady lady here. He is 59 years old, born in 1969. Mitchell Harris Snow is his full name, and from Pasco, Wisconsin. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, won't ask you how I know. Thank you for the 10, and I appreciate it. Jay Witt, this guy is a professional liar. Story found. Send it to me in email, Ruben. She lies more than a hammer whose whole life is one episode than Hammer. Oh, yeah. She loves talking about Josh Hammer as a liar. Biblical support for Candace, I found it in 3 Corinthians 3:5. Okay, I'll look that up, Phantom. I appreciate you. Don't tell me it's not 3 Corinthians. I know it's a joke. It's a joke. I already hear y'all talking. I already hear y'all typing it. Elkster, thank you with the $2 super. Just loving the game. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Amy, thank you so much. I had 2 years of sobriety before that interview. Yo, stop it. Don't do that to us. We didn't do that to you. Don't do it. I love Mitchell. He's playing with her, proving she does not research. Thank you, Kelly, with the 5. Do you think he was an op? You think he was an op? Jay Witt works for BB. Oh, absolutely. You know I do. Come on. You know I do work for BB. Thank you for the 2. I appreciate y'all. Y'all, this is a wild show. This is a wild show. But I want to say thank y'all so much, everybody. Tomorrow is Friday. I wanted to talk about some of my new sponsors and the such like that, but I'm going to let that go. I'm going to drop the link to Paramount Tactical. Let's all just jump over there. I'm going to jump over there and holler at Gary for a minute. And as such, y'all drop some green hearts in the chat on your way out the door. Please make sure you tip your waiters. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. And if you definitely enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. Trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by April 30th next year. So I'm looking forward to doing that real soon. Everybody, green hearts on the way out. Let's green heart Gary when we get over there to Paramount Tactical. Until then, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.